All right, we are live. For those who are just tuning in, or rather, whoever's watching the replay, skip 5 minutes ahead because I'm going to give some people some time to join in so we can all start together. So if you are watching the replay, skip 4 or 5 minutes ahead. Just look at the, man, what's the word I'm looking for? Look in the little, wow, the word just not coming to me right now. Look in the chapter breaks on the time on the YouTube video. It'll break it up when I started and stop it. Let's bring up Zoom as well in case anybody wants to talk at the same time. All right, let's move this there. And for those that are in here right now, let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Sweet. Appreciate you guys for coming in on time. I love people who are on time. We'll start in about 4 minutes. Can hang out, have fun, do whatever you want. Get some water because we're going to be here for a while. I am recovering from being sick, so I should be good to make it the whole class. No more fever and stuff, thankfully. My cough has gotten better as well. Bro, what time is my class? It's now. Reading is fundamental, people. Reading is fundamental. All right, let me check something real quick. All right, cool. The Zoom link is there. Let's see. In a few minutes, I'm going to kind of explain the whole breakdown of today's class. The first few portions of it is I'm just gonna talk. There is a Zoom link in the description. There is a Zoom link in the description where if you do want to talk instead of type, you can join the Zoom link. All I ask is that if you are going to join the Zoom link, there's probably going to be some delay between YouTube and the Zoom link. So be sure to mute. You can mute YouTube so I'm not getting feedback and you're not echoing when you speak. So if you do want to talk, when you're asking me questions or your experience or whatever you want to ask about, the Zoom link is in the description. Just remember to mute either Zoom or mute YouTube so you don't, we don't get echo and feedback. Just so it's clear and clean for the listeners. All right, let's go. I'm going to unshare my screen in a bit. I just want to make sure that you guys can see my screen. Are we good? You guys can see my screen that I'm sharing? My chart and my billion lines. Well, actually, there's like 5 lines here. Not that many. Now there's a billion lines. Cool. All right. So I'm gonna unshare my screen because we're not gonna go to charts for a while. Um, let me actually. All right. Let me just make a. All right. This is what I'll do. Class notes. So if I got to go over anything specifically with you guys, we can do it together. All right, we'll start in like 5 seconds. Just let me get this situated here real quick. All right, class notes. All right, before we begin, there's 10 people in here and 3 likes. All I ask is that the participation is above 50%. I'm giving you a free class and free gems. All I ask for is free likes. Just hit the little thumbs up button on the YouTube page and we'll be all set. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. There we go. Let's begin. So, welcome everybody. My name is Advent. I am not a financial advisor. So anything that you guys see in this video or any of my video or content is not financial advice. It is simply for educational purposes. Trading does have its risks. So please do your research before you engage in that. Now, today is going to be a little different than some of the other, trade recaps and things like that I have. Today's class's title, because I couldn't really think of a better, more concise one, but hopefully it still gets the point across. It is Getting Serious About Trading, What It Takes to Be a Successful Trader. Because, I'm going to go over it more detail, but people like to, um, you know, think trading is like a get rich quick scheme, which sometimes you can be lucky. Let's say someone who got into GameStop 2 years ago or whenever that happened, you became a millionaire if you were smart and took your money, or you made a lot of money. But actual trading, it takes skill, determination, and a lot of discipline and study time. I'll tell you that. Um, what I do ask is, while you can ask questions in the chat, I'm gonna hold most of the answers towards, or more the question answering towards the end, just so I can get through most of my material, because there's a lot that we're gonna be going over. We might be here for 2 hours, we might be here for 3 hours. I don't know. It depends how much we go over and how much I talk. And you guys know that I love talking. Yeah, for that question, Vor, I'm not sure. The same thing keeps on happening to me. When you figure it out, please let me know. And if I figure it out, I'll let you know. All right. So for today's agenda, quite many topics. So I'm gonna go into my story in more detail. I'm gonna be going over a Reddit poll that I made. Shout out to Reddit. They're one of the reasons why I became a coach, and of course my coach. But more into that later. The poll is the question that I asked was pretty much, how has trading negatively affected your life? That's like self-image issues, financial issues, relationships, unhealthy habits, and other things that we'll talk about as well. We'll be going over good books that can help you in your trading journey. We'll be going over like coaching, its benefits, and how it can help you in your trading journey as well. We're going to be going over being honest, being honest with yourself. Where are you not showing up in your trading, whether it be with your studies, with putting in the work to get proper proper information, journaling, a bunch of things. I'm not going to go into it now because I'm just going to start talking and I'm not going to stop. And I want to keep this in order. For those who may watch the replay, or for those who are here that can't stay the whole way, and you want to. Am I still showing my screen? I am still showing my screen. Whoops. Let's do that. All right, cool. We'll get to my screen sharing later on, since we're not going to be looking at charts anytime soon. So towards the end as well, I'm going to be going together with all of you a practice that my mentor, or one of my mentors anyway, um, took me through, that really helped me get my life together, which in turn got my trading life together. So if you do want to do that together, be sure to stick around towards the end. But we will probably get there like in an hour and a half, maybe a little less than that. Again, it depends how much I talk and how deep I go into these topics. I'm going to be going over self-sabotage as well, because that's definitely a big thing when it comes to trading and other areas of your life. Um, what I would say before I forget, same way I gave the disclaimer earlier with the financial advisor stuff, that I am not. Any practices and anything that I may speak on life-wise, um, please do your research and consult your doctor before you engage in any of the practices that I speak on, because some people may not be eligible. Cool. Hey, James, I'm not sure when you got in here, but of course, like I mentioned earlier, you guys can, put in all your questions in the chat. But I'm going to be answering most of the questions like towards the end of this, because I want to stay on topic with the agenda so I don't lose track, because I can go off on tangents a lot. Anyway, now that all of that is out of the way, let's officially get started. Let me just make a little note here. So we started at 5 minutes, and then we're officially starting at 11 minutes, so I can code the chapters better later on. Cool. All right, so like I mentioned earlier, my name is Advent, everyone. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys. We're going to start off with how I got into trading and pretty much my trading journey until this point, and going to be going into a lot more detail than I usually go through with all my other classes that I usually have. But I've been trading. I've been trading for 4 years. I trade futures mainly and options. I do trade like crypto futures and stuff like that, but very, very, very rarely. Um, my sleeping tends to be all over the place when I start trading crypto again, so I usually avoid it when I can. But every now and then, I'll dabble in it. But mainly, I trade futures and options now. I've traded basically everything: penny stocks, crypto futures, forex, all that good stuff. Excuse me. Let me see something real quick before we continue. All right, cool. So getting back to my story. So I started trading about almost 5 years ago. When I first started, I didn't know anything about trading at all. A buddy of mine messages me. He's like, "Hey, man, it's like during COVID time, or a little before that. No, it was after COVID. When not after, but like during COVID when it happened, because all the stocks were like in the gutter." And my friend calls me up and he's like, "Hey, uh, buy Boeing." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Buy Boeing stock." I'm like, "All right, how do I do that?" So he sent me Robinhood. I downloaded Robinhood and I put like $200 in Boeing, whatever. Didn't think too much of it. In like a week and change later, Boeing basically doubled. And I was like, whoa, I just doubled my money by pressing buttons. There's something here. And then from there, I put in like 600, 700 bucks into my account. And I shredded half of that because, again, I didn't even know what I was doing. Um, one of my um, one of my buddies that I used to work with, I might say names of people that I know in real life, but I'll try to avoid that because um, I want to respect their privacy. So I'll either just use nicknames or I'll just refer them to as buddy or people or whatever. Anyway, so my buddy that I used to work with, um, him and I uh, pretty much started this together before my other friend told me to buy Boeing. Then I told my other buddy from work, I was like, hey, man, this stock stuff is cool. Let's get into it. So him and I were trading penny stocks in the beginning. And for those who trade penny stocks know that they're penny stocks for a reason. So I got into this penny stock. I forgot what the name was. And there was like this big news that was going to come out. And it was like, oh, they're going to be part of like the Fortune 500 company. And it's going to go from like 60 cents to like $10. And, all this FOMO, all this fake news, all this stuff, but you don't know as a new trader that a lot of that stuff is just hearsay, right? Or people just making stuff up. So I'm like, man, I'm going to make a killing off this. I put like $700 into that trade, pretty much most, if not all the account. And then when the news came out, cooked, immediate 50% haircut. I lost like half the account on that trade. That one hurt. That's when I was still working like 4 years ago. I had to like on my break, I didn't even eat lunch, none of that. I literally sat in my car like that Pablo Escobar meme from that show where the guy just like looking, like sitting in the swing set. That was literally me just like for like 30 minutes in my car, devastated. Um, And trust me, I'm sure a lot of people have been there too. A lot of people that I know that trade been there. But hey, we got to learn some way. So um, from there, my buddy from work, he discovered pretty much our first mentor on a Discord group, and shout out to him because that helped a lot. In that group, we were mainly swing trading penny stocks. That's pretty much what I started with, penny stocks. And like the light bulb that went off in my head that trading was actually, um, I wouldn't say that it's real, but more so that you can make money off this, was like the first trade that I took from our first mentor, where he's like, hey, buy here and we're gonna sell here. And then boom, I bought the trade when he told me to buy. And then I put my sell where he told us to sell. And then like 3 days later, that thing hit, and I was like, whoa, this thing is like, all right, there's something here. I got to look into this. So, the rest is, yeah, exactly. Neo in the Matrix, like waking up. So, from there, um, it was great. Especially during COVID, you can make money with literally anything. You can buy anything and you would make money. I think there was a point in, I think, 2021 where there wasn't one stock in the NASDAQ that was under $1. So you could literally throw money at everything and print. Um, so the first few months were fantastic. Started off with like that account was like 800, 900. Then I probably put 2,000 of my own money in there. Um, we took that account to $48,850. And I remember that price very, very, very clearly because of the story I'm about to tell you guys now. For those who've been in my previous classes or just seen my stuff before, you know that I always say, do not focus on the money because it will get you in trouble. So, the reason why I remember that account got to $48,850 from 2000 is because I never paid myself from 2000 to 48.8K. Never took any money out to pay myself. So I was so fixated on hitting 50K on that account before I took money out that I started getting myself into trouble. So each trade that I took until that point was probably like 1,000, maybe 1,500 per position size. But in this case, I was like, hey, I'm right there to 50,000. Why use 1,000 or 1,500? Let me just double or triple my position size. I've been winning. And that was after my biggest month. I made 17K. I think it was like February, February of 2021. I was super in my head. I was like the freaking stock market wizard, the guru. You couldn't tell me nothing. The market bended to me, etc. Blah, 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 blah. I learned very quickly that the market can humble you very quickly, and it hurts. So I went from about 1,000 to 1,500 position size to 4,300, I think it was, on that next trade. This specific trade that I took was options, and you guys know about options. If it doesn't go in your favor, you're gonna have a bad day. So I got into calls, and it was like 6 months out contracts. I've never gotten a position size of like 4,000 before. So for me in my head, I was focused on, all right, cool. I'm ready for the bigger numbers, for the bigger profits, for the bigger this, for the bigger that. But I wasn't thinking on the bigger losses. So while I was ready mentally for the bigger numbers, I was not ready for the bigger losses. So in that specific trade, when I got what was it? I think I was up like $300. I was like, oh, this is cool. All right. But I'm still waiting for this target to hit, which would have gave me back at least like 2 or 3K or more return, right? But the trade went against me. I was down maybe 300-400. And to me, that was big because, like I said, I used to use like 1,000, 1,500 position sizes. So that was never like a big number for me, loss wise. So I was like, oh, negative 300, it's all good. It'll come back. And then it went to negative 500. And then it went to negative 600. And then it hit my stop loss, like at $1,000 loss. But again, I wasn't ready mentally or emotionally to take that loss. So what do we do when we get in those moments? We start hoping and using, and we turn from being traders and we turn to being gamblers or hopers, right? So instead of me taking the $1,000 L gracefully, I'm like, I have 6 months on the contracts. I can wait. It'll come back in my favor. Nope. That trade never came back in my favor. And I shredded basically that entire position to zero, or I think I ended up closing it at like $100. That's like what was remaining from that trade. So that was the what's the word? That was the beginning of my downfall drawdown period when I was like 3-4 years ago. So literally, I think that was March when I took that trade, and I think I probably closed it maybe like 2 months later. I was like May. Yeah, it was like April or May, something like that. And that's my biggest loss to date, 4.5K. That thing hurt me for a while, and like mentally, that trade messed me up. Definitely traumatized me because every time I got into a trade after that, I would immediately panic because I was afraid that the market is going to take my money, the remaining money that I had in the account. Which, ironically, because I was so afraid, it was like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Every time I would get into a trade that was a good trade, I would take my profit off quick because I was afraid the market would take it from me. Or if I would get into a trade, it wouldn't hit my take profit and it wouldn't hit my stop loss. And I would still get out quick anyway because I was so afraid that I was going to lose that trade only to have it go in my favor. And that happened a lot. And I was basically red for quite a few months in a row. And it got to a point where, a lot of this was affecting my personal life, which I'll go into more details later when I go over that like poll that I mentioned to those who were here earlier. But I wasn't sleeping. Like I would literally like wake up because when we trade penny stocks or just stocks in general, I was using Webull at the time, and you can get into position at 4 a.m. Eastern. So I'll literally be up like at 3:50 a.m. I'll be on literally all day till like 5 or 6 p.m. just on the charts. So my sleeping was garbage. I was out of it mentally because like all my brain power is just like on the charts all day. My relationship at the time was suffering with my friends, my partner at the time. Um, you know, uh, my habits with myself, like I mentioned, my sleeping, wasn't taking care of myself, physically, mentally, all that stuff. And yeah, it was that was definitely a dark time, I would say, in my life. There's a picture that I was shown during my birthday that year, and I looked like a freaking zombie. I was like, wow, that's what I look like. And they were like, yep. I was super, super, super out of it all the time. Um, it was bad. So fast forward, it got to a point like 6 to 8 months later. I was like, all right, like I can't continue living like this. And, I can't continue trading like this because I'm just losing money, you know? Um, I'm just losing money. Like, and my life isn't getting better, it's getting worse. So, uh, hold on. Is the stream frozen? There we go. The stream is back. All right. We were frozen for a sec. Anyway, so, I couldn't continue living like that. I was, I guess if I can be dramatic, my life was like shambles. Like everything was horrible. I did not like where I was at in my life. I didn't like where my trading was at. There was many things of my life that I didn't like at the time. So it wasn't until I decided, all right, clearly nothing is changing. So I need to take a step back. So I took a month or two off of trading. During that time, I found a life coach, one of my mentors now. Shout out to you, Jacob. Really changed my life for the better. Uh, Forever grateful. Love that guy. So met my life coach slash mentor. I'll just say mentor because I don't want to keep on saying life coach. So I met my mentor during that time, and he turned my life like full. Was it the 180? Yeah, 180. So completely changed my life. You know, for him and I, we never talked anything trading because you know it wasn't the trading that was the issue. It was me. It was my habits. It was my disciplines. It was all of that that was bleeding into my trading. So he helped me, get my life in order. I wasn't scheduled. My sleeping patterns were horrible, a bunch of stuff. So it wasn't until I worked with him that I realized it's like, my trading's suffering because, you know, how can I expect to be a great trader when I'm literally waking up at 9:25 a.m. and the market opens at 9:30 and I'm taking a trade half awake in 5 minutes? And then I'm getting upset because I'm not winning. But it's like you don't even know what's going on. So, um, you know, that was a real big pivotal point in my life that I will always be grateful to him for. So, from there, once I finished working with him, my trading started improving. My life was much better. I was scheduling everything, which again, we'll go over more of this like in detail, the process that he took me through later on in today's session. But, everything that he had me do, like it helped me out tremendously. And then like 3 months later, Actually, let me take a step back. Um, so this can make more sense as I continue. So my goal with trading, as everybody else's, obviously to make a lot of money, to be financially free, all that stuff, etc. Is was pretty much my goal for trading, because outside of trading, before this, I'm a musician, I'm a photographer, I'm a bunch of different things. So I'm like, all right, with trading, it can help me supplement my income and even just make me quit my job so I have more time to do the things that I love. And music equipment and photography equipment is very expensive for those who know. So anyway, moving forward, that was pretty much my goal that I had for trading. So fast forward, um, my goal was essentially, as I started making more money than my regular job, my plan was to quit and then go full time as a trader. That was me and my buddy from work. That was our goal together. So I think he ended up doing it earlier than me by a few months. I think that was 2022. Yeah, 2022. I think he did it like in January or February, when he quit the job that we worked at together. And then he went full time first than I did. And then I ended up doing it in, I think it was May of 2022. I quit my job to go full time. Um, so right before, it was in, I think, February, no, March or April that same year before I quit my job. Another one of my friends, he sends me this video or this Instagram post by some dude. And he's like, hey man, this guy just made a killing. He made like over 100K or 200K on Nvidia. His course, he's selling it for like $30 instead of like 200 or 300 or whatever it was at the time. And I was like, all right, what's $30, right? So I buy the course, I get into this guy's group, and I'm looking at the chat, and people are talking about this strategy. They're like, oh yeah, the strat. Oh yeah, there's a 2-2 bull rev or a 2-2 bear rev, or there's a 2-2 continuation. And I'm like, what the heck are people talking about? So um, for those who haven't guessed it already, that was 100K's group. Shout out to 100K and all the other mentors in there that I've learned from, and everybody else that's in there too. That group has been like saving grace, if I do say so myself. Anyway, so I got into that group, and of course, while the strategy that I used before I learned the strat was profitable, but the strat was like, that thing just propelled my profitability by a lot. Because my first mentor, he would be like, hey, like 25-30% is like the holy grail for returns on a position. But in 100K's group, people are like, hey, 50% or 100%, that's the norm around here. And once I learned the strat and understood it, now I understood why they say 50 to 100% is normal. Once you learn how to use the strat, 50, 100% or more return on every trade is common. It's not like a dream. So once I started learning that more, I was like, all right, cool. This is exactly the last thing that I needed. And then I went full time. I quit my job and haven't been working at a job since. So one thing to mention is, if you do want to go full time, you want to do it the right way, right? Because I see a lot of people either online or people that come to me like, hey, I want to quit my job. I want to go full time. I want to do this. I want to do that. And that's great. Hey, definitely do it. It's attainable. But the thing is, you want to do it the right way, right? The way that I did it was I saved up for a year of expenses. So essentially, I had a full year of expenses. So then once I went full time, I had a year worth of expenses. So I'm not worried about the money that I'm trading with. The money that was in my trading account was separate than what was in my savings account that I had in case this didn't work out, right? So Um, what I did, like I mentioned, save up expenses for a year. That way, if anything did go wrong, I had that as a backup. Now, the reason why you don't want to go full time, like cold turkey or whatever it may be, is because, you know, as humans, we're emotional beings. And when it comes to money, before we continue, whoever's watching this, and if you have not liked the video yet, please hit the like button on the video. That is all I ask for. There's 15 people in here and 18 likes. I need those likes to be above 10. Just hit the thumbs up button. That's your only job here besides listening. There we go. We can continue. Thank you, everyone. All right. Um, as human beings, we're emotional creatures, right? I won't go too deep into it because I made like a whole emotional intelligence webinar like 2 years ago. But anyway, to summarize it as best as I can, you know, when it comes to money, actually, I'll use this analogy. Let's think of the caveman days, right? You know, we had our shelter, we go out and hunt for food, whatever that may be, right? However, in modern times, money replaces all of that. Money is your shelter, money is your food, money is your livelihood, all that stuff, right? So when we're trading, when we trade, being in the markets is being in an uncertain um, it's being in an uncertain environment, and our brains do not function properly in uncertain environments. As humans, we like to be certain, we like to control things, but in trading we can't control anything. We can only control ourselves, which I'll go more into later. So with that being said, you don't want to trade with money that you need. So if you only have $2,000 to your name and you think you're going to go full time next month, you want to have proper expectations, because if you're trading with money that you need to survive or to pay bills or for this or for that, you're going to have a real hard time trading. I'm going to tell you that from experience and from many people that I've worked with. So if you want to trade full time or whatever your goal is, do not have that as your sole income, because, your brain is going to go into emotional mode immediately because you're trading with money that you need. If you're trading with rent money and you lose that money, now how are you going to come up with rent if you don't got a job, right? So, please don't trade with money that you need for rent, because that's stupid, amongst many other things. But yeah, trading with money that you need is going to get you emotional a lot quicker than you think it may, and you're going to make a lot more mistakes. And as I always say, you don't want to focus on the money, you want to focus on the process, because, I'm not profitable. Well, let me make this make sense, because what I was about to say wasn't going to make sense. The money that I make from trading comes from following my rules, and it comes from following my disciplines, and it comes from following my my process, right? Hold on, let me just make a timestamp here. Cool. What is your target daily doing this full time? I don't really have a dollar target. I just stop whenever either it's 12 noon, or if I, let's say, make more than, let's say, 700 or 1,000, if it's a great day. But generally, I don't look at my P&L until after I journal my trades. You really want to focus on your setups because that's where the money comes from. So to answer that question, all I really do is just look for setups. Now, if I have a really good setup and I get like, 500 bucks, 600 bucks, whatever it may be, or 300, 500, 600, whatever the number may be, in like 30 minutes, and I don't feel like staying on the charts, I'll get off. I'm okay with making $300 in 30 minutes. I'll tell you that. So, um, going back to what I was saying, let's see if I can remember where I was. Um, this is why I don't like reading the chat when I'm talking because I get distracted. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So, the money that I make from trading is from following my system, my plan, etc. Because a lot of people think that you're going to um, that you make the money and then you follow your rules and your disciplines and X, Y, and Z. That is incorrect. That is wrong. You make the money by following your rules and following your system and following your plan and X, Y, and Z. For those who have been here since the beginning, like I mentioned, when I would wake up like at 9:25 a.m. and I'll take a trade 5 minutes later, my first rule is I do not take a trade while I'm tired, because when I'm tired, I don't know what's going on and I'm more susceptible to my emotions. So I do not trade when I'm tired because I'm not setting myself up for success. And again, everybody's rules are going to be unique to themselves. Also, before I forget, if you don't have rules, write down your rules, print them out, and put them in front of your trading station. Because people that I work with, and even myself from experience, I would be like, hey, oh, whoops, I forgot about this rule because I have it in my journal or it's in a file on my computer or this, that, and the third. But when you have it in front of you, there's no excuses. Your rules are right there. So you can literally see them. So if you guys haven't already, a quick little homework for you guys: write down your rules and print them and put them in front of your trading desk or wherever you trade at. Doesn't matter. No excuses. All right. So continuing on. Um, let's see. How do I want to break this down next? What does the process mean? The process essentially means, what is the routine? Like, there's a routine that I have outside of trading, and then there's a routine that I have during trading, right? So a lot of the work also comes when you're not trading. For me, I need my sleep. That's a given. If I don't sleep well, and all my friends know, if I don't sleep, don't talk to me. I'm not going to go outside. I'm not going to hang out. I don't want to do anything. I need sleep. For people who can survive on 3 to 4 or 5 hours sleep a day, shout out to you. That's not me. I'll tell you that. So, you know, let's say my routine outside of trading, you have to schedule everything so your life is not chaotic and it's not hectic, right? So I make sure to sleep early. I usually go to bed, 11, usually by 11, sometimes by 12, 12:30, but I try to go to bed before 11 if I can. And then I'm up pretty much every day at 7, 7:30, pretty much at 7 a.m. every day, which is annoying because even on Saturdays when I want to sleep in because I don't have any work, either with students or trading or studying, I want to catch some extra hours of sleep. My body's like, nope, you're waking up at 7. I'm like, all right, I guess that's what we're doing. So I make sure to get good sleep. I make sure to work out, exercise, all that good stuff. Um, you know, um, have practices that help you in relaxing, because a lot of people like to be on a lot. So for me, I make sure that I spend some like decompressing time every day. Like for those who know, I only trade for the first 2.5 hours of the day, 9:30 a.m. to 12 noon. Sometimes I'll come in the afternoon, but only looking for a specific setup around 1 p.m. If I don't see it by 1:30, then I'll just shut everything down. But usually I'm done by 12 noon. That way, I'm not on the charts all day because, like, for those who've been here from the beginning, when I will tell you that I'll be from 4 a.m. to like 6 p.m. on the charts, that just fries my brain. So you want to limit the amount of time that you're on the chart because realistically, the more time you spend on the chart does not mean more money. For me, the more time that I spend on the chart, I'm more mentally fatigued, more mentally drained, all that stuff. So it's not conducive for me to be on the charts after 12 noon. One, it's lunchtime and volume slows down. And then, based on my journaling and my trades, most of my money comes from the morning time. And I'm either giving money back or losing trades in the afternoon. So I just completely don't even bother with trading during those times anymore. And I only focus on the times where I make the most money. And then, of course, it gives me more time to work with students to get up in my studies and stuff like that. So again, you want to focus on trading when you're most profitable. You don't want to just trade whenever just because, or, if I stay from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., I'm going to make even more money. That is incorrect. You want to trade when you make the most money. And when that is, I don't know. You have to figure that out with your own trading and with your own journaling and data collection. Cool. Other things that I do, meditating is great, to help you clear your head and go into the trading session. Um, what's the word? To go into the trading session with a clear mind. Every day before I go into my trading session, I always tell myself, my only job here is to focus on my setups, follow my rules, and follow my disciplines or be disciplined. And that's pretty much it. Because once I get into the trade, it's not up to me if the trade is going to lose or not. Yeah, that's up to the market. So my only job is to focus on performing well. And even if I took my setup and I lost, that's okay because I followed my rules and I followed my trading plan. That's all I can do as a trader. Anything else is up to the market. Now, of course, if your what do you call it? If your setups, if they win more than they lose, you'll always come out on top. Like, for example, last week, I think it was Thursday. I think it was Thursday. I got to double check. Wednesday or Thursday, one of those days. I took my setups as I always do, and I ended red on futures. It is what it is. I did exactly what I said I would, and I lost. That's okay. But those setups win a lot more than they lose. And then, and then the next day, yesterday, I took a similar setup and it won. Again, just follow your rules. And before I even continue saying that, obviously it's easier said than done, right? Because we're human. And one thing that I'll mention is, I forgot to mention earlier, is there's a, in my opinion, there's a misconception in trading where people say, hey, once you get rid of your emotions in trading, you'll be the best trader ever. That's impossible. You cannot remove your emotions from trading because you're human. Unless you're a sociopath, I don't see how that's possible. So, working with Randy Howell, he's a trader psychologist. Highly recommend you guys look up his stuff. You can look it up on YouTube. I worked with him last year. He's fantastic. Um, you know, the biggest thing is learning how to manage your emotions when you're trading, right? So I was mad. I was upset that I ended red on futures that day. I was salty that those trades lost. But it's what we do when we get emotional, which is going to determine our success in trading, right? I could have decided, hey, I'm not going to end red. I'm going to end green. I'm going to get this money back and I'm going to end green. That's a huge red flag and huge no-no when you're trading. Again, your job is not to end green or red. Your job is to follow your plan. But what you do when you get emotional is going to be the big determination whether you're going to succeed or not. And trust me, I've been there. I've ended red, and then I'm like, hey, nope, I'm not ending red today. I'm going to trade some more to get that green back. And then what happens? I'll end up losing more money. Or even worse, I'll make that money back and I'll end green just gambling and not following my trade plan or rules, which is even worse because now you're training your brain to essentially not follow your rules, and you're building that bad habit. So again, if you end red, take the L gracefully, journal, write down all your emotions and how you feel and how upset you are, but do not get back on the charts. The day's done. That's it. Leave it alone. Tomorrow's another day. And I always tell people, don't get caught up in one day. There is many more days to come. What's one red day out of a green week? What's a red week out of a green month? What's a red month out of a green year? Again, don't get so caught up on the day to day. You got to look at the big picture, right? Like for what's this called? For June, hold on, let me see if I have this here. How many days? So I traded 19 days in June, and I ended red 7 times. So out of the 19 days that I traded, 7 of them ended red. Doesn't matter to me because I ended up green in the month anyway. And I kept my losses low because, again, losses are inevitable. You would never escape losses. There's a book by Tom Hogard, I think you say his last name, The Best Loser Wins. This is pretty much trading. The best loser wins, because I've seen many traders come and go because they're not good losers. They'll lose a trade, revenge trade, blow the account, and then they'll get stuck in that cycle pretty much forever until they just quit trading. And then they'll be like, trading's a scam, trading's this, trading's that, which I'm going to be going over later on because I'm going to come at a lot of people a little later. Just know that it's all love. I just want you guys to look in the mirror because a lot of people don't look in the mirror. Anyway, so getting back to the process before I go off on another tangent, what are some rules? I'll answer that question since that's part of the process. Let's go over my rules, everyone, and feel free to take this for some of yours. Actually, before I continue, we got 17 people in here and 11 likes. Whoever hasn't liked the video or the stream yet, hit the like button because I'm going to give you game that I charge people for. And all I ask is for you to hit the like button in return. That's it. 17 people in here and 11 likes. I'm going to need at least 15 before I continue. Thank you, Brown. Also, shout out to Brown, one of my strat mentors. Definitely helped me a lot. Definitely was an invaluable piece of my success today. Shout out Brown Strat King. All right, whoever's in here, we got 18 people and we got 12 likes. I'm gonna need 3 more before I continue. Like I said, all I ask is you to hit the like button. If you don't know where the like button is, just look at the video. There's a thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. I'll wait. I got all time. I got the whole day. I have no plans today besides this and relaxing. All right, we're at 13. Just need 2 more. All right, 1 more like and we can continue. One more like. Today is a lovely cloudy day in Florida. Not looking forward to hurricane season. All right, let's continue. All right, so trading rules. My first one is I do not trade while tired. Actually, can you guys, hopefully it's not reversed on the chat. All right, so do not trade while tired. I already told you guys earlier why. No trading in bed. I was king bed trader. I do not do that because when I'm trading in bed, I only see one chart, one time frame. I'm not seeing the bigger picture. So if I'm not looking at if I'm not at my desk, I don't take any trades. Period. Like I said, if I'm tired or whatever it may be, hey, I'd rather end at 0 that day than force anything. Number 3, trade only your A+ setups. Actually, I have to update this one. This is my old one. So my updated one, actually, I'll do you guys one better. I'll stream my current one. For those who just came in, we got 19 people now. Hit the like button. You guys can see my screen, right? Let me know if you guys can see my screen before I continue. Sweet. All right. Where is this folder? Let's go to Tesla. That is Tesla, indeed. All right, my updated rules. So do not trade in while tired. Do not trade in bed. Trade only your A and B setups from your playbook. For those who don't know what a playbook is essentially a playbook is essentially a collection of trades that you've marked off, which kind of tell you the idea behind the trade. And then, of course, you can back test it to see how viable it is. To give you guys an example, where is, hold on. All right, so in my playbook folder, winning trades, losing trades, let's go to the retracement model. And let's look up this one. All right, so for the retrace, actually, this one is not clean. I understand it, but let me show you a cleaner one. There we go. All right, let's zoom in on this. So this is the retracement model, the short version. What we're looking for is a big drop, kind of like candles hang out, then another big drop. Once price comes back up into this area, I'm going to short right above that area, which we can see here. So this is pretty much what like your playbook or something in your playbook would be. You mark the setup, you name it whatever you want, if you want it, if you want to name it, and then you can like, write up the screenshot, right? With what the idea behind it is, what you're looking for, so on and so forth. So for this specific trade model, I'm looking for a big drop to occur, kind of candles just hanging out, and then another big drop. And then I'm going to re-enter when price comes back into that area, which as we can see here for QQQ, I mainly trade this on futures. I don't trade this on options. With futures, it's simple because I could just put a sell order, a sell limit sitting here. For future or for options, you're going to have to sell, buy market once it hits those levels or whatever it may be. Anyway, so that'll be like a playbook example or something that you guys can add to your playbook. And then you can go back and back test it in X, Y, and Z and such and such. Anyway, moving on. So those are the only trades I take. How can you tell if a trade is an A or B plus setup? Let's bring my notes on playbook creation. And after the rules, I'm going to go back on the agenda for today because I am definitely off track. But we're still good. All right. All right. So playbook creation. With our playbook, essentially, you want to establish what your best setups may be. What are those? I can't tell you what those are. You kind of have to figure that out for yourself. Like for strat, I usually prefer, excuse me, for strat, I usually prefer taking reversals. I don't really care for continuations unless it's like off a 4-hour or daily trigger or even a weekly, stuff like that. But generally, I like to take reversals. So to me, those would be A or B plus setups. And then on top of the playbook creation, I have the breakdown. I haven't updated this in a while, but this is what I would constitute as an A or B plus setup. So, it's setups that have a high win rate of 85 to 90%. Like for me, the tweezer setup is definitely an A plus setup. I've taken it about, I think since I last mentioned it, maybe like 13 or 14 times live now, and it's failed twice. So really good setup. In the sense of it not coming too often, you can probably catch it 3 to 4 times a week. I got to check my notes and see how many times I've caught it this past week. But you can definitely cast that on a weekly basis. Same thing for B setups. For me, the W would probably be a B setup because, I do see it weekly. It doesn't always pan out. Like on Friday, well, actually Friday was a winning version, so I wouldn't really constitute that one as a fail since it was a winning trade. But, to me, the W model would be more of a B setup. And then C setups, for me, can I go over my A setup? If you look at the trade recap videos and also like on my channel, there's like the W trade model. The videos are there that I go over some of the A setups that I use. C setups to me will be like continuation trades, trades that may be on a lower time frame. If you're trading the strat, like the 5-minute or under, I don't trade anything under the 5-minute on strat. To me, it just doesn't work. It might work for other people, not for me. So my experience, if it works for you, don't listen to me. The risk reward, of course, isn't really the best. Sometimes it'll be like less than even 1. To me, unknown setups, I am super biased on unknown setups. I know people who will trade them. Again, If this works for you, don't listen to me. Keep on doing whatever you do. And if it works, it works. For me, I don't like it. So unknown setup to me is like earnings, because it's 50-50. Earnings could be good and then it can tank, or it can be good and it can pump, or it can be good and then nothing will happen. They just kill both sides. And IB crush is definitely a thing. Trades based on feelings are definitely unknown setups, and you should not take them. Oh, I thought it would do this. I thought it would do that. Big red flags when you use that type of language. What else? Trades on news. Again, I don't like trading news because it can go 50-50, especially for those who trade futures. If you put your stop loss, that stop loss is not going to get respected. So if you thought you were going to take a $200 L, you're going to take a $500 L. And you can't really replicate those results, right? So FOMC, people are like, oh, every FOMC it goes up and then it goes down, but then you might get one that goes down and then it goes up, or it might just not do anything, or CPI data or PCE or all those other types of data. So to me, I avoid those. Anyway, getting back to the rule book. So my morning routine must be completed. That's part of the process, like I mentioned before. Get enough sleep, get some sun, go for a little quick walk, do some stretching, meditating, reading out my affirmations, all that good stuff, having breakfast. Some people don't like eating. That's okay. Also, for the questions that you guys are asking, I'm going to get to that towards the end because I want to stay on track and not get distracted, because those are different topics. But we'll go over that, but later on when I open up the Q&A. So, do my morning routine, have breakfast, all that good stuff. So I have everything ready. So for the next 2.5 hours, I'm good to go. My phone is on do not disturb. I try to limit as many distractions as I can, which can be a little challenging because, of course, I have my own group to support, other groups to support, and, of course, my students and things like that. But generally, like the first half an hour, I don't really respond to anything, just so I can focus while I'm trading. And of course, the trade plan, the trade must be planned before you enter. If you get into a trade and you don't know what your take profit is, your stop loss, or your entry, then you're gambling and you're not trading. If you do not have a trade plan, then there is no trade, period. Again, you want to set yourself up for success. You getting into a trade with no plan is not setting yourself up for success. Market prep. As many of you know, I do my watch list the day before because it's pretty much based on the strat, and the triggers will be the following day. Proper risk management and size. For me, I use 7 to 10% of my account in each trade. If it's like maybe within the first 3 minutes of market opening, I'll probably use only 5% because it can be very volatile. But otherwise, I use 7 to 10% of my account in each trade. As always, like you guys always see on my watch list, if you get emotional, take a 1-hour break, because that break, and of course, with breathing practices and other things, you can lessen that by a lot. But generally, you want to give yourself at least an hour if you don't have proper practices in place to make that shorter. Don't trade chop because it's not profitable for me. So if the daily is trading inside, I'm more than likely not going to take the trade. Now, if the 4-hour trigger is close to the daily trigger, then I will take that trade in anticipation that the day will no longer be inside. But if the 4-hour trigger is, let's say, if the daily trigger is like really far away from the 4-hour, then I'll probably just leave that trade alone or trade with really small size, because it's a little more risky because you can get caught up in chop. I don't trade during live events and speeches, like if Biden's talking or, Jay Powell or FOMC speeches, stuff like that. I leave that alone. The next one, somebody asked me about risk management. This will tie into risk management. You can have a loss limit either based on a specific number of trades or what's the word? Or a dollar amount, whichever one you prefer. I usually just do the flat 3 losses and call it a day because all my trades have specific loss numbers attached to it. So I already know how much I'll lose on each trade. Anyway, so to me, after 3 losses, I stop. I shut everything down. If I win, then lose 3 trades, or if I win 2 trades, lose 3 trades. It really doesn't matter the combination. As soon as I lose 3 trades, I stop for the day because something's either going on with me, something's going on with the market conditions, or I'm just on the wrong side of probability. It is what it is. Again, take the L gracefully. Tomorrow's another day. This is the most recent one that I added. When I'm swinging, I do not look at the ticker. I just set my alerts and I leave it alone. I think it was last year when I added this one. I was swing trading. I forgot what stock it was. And I was on the 1 hour time frame for whatever reason. And it was reversing on the 1 hour. And for whatever reason, my brain went into panic mode. It's like, oh my God, the trade is reversing. And I got out the trade for like a 20, 25% gain. The very next day, that trade went 200%. I was incredibly salty, immediately added that to my rule list. And now I no longer look at the ticker when I'm swing trading. I just set my alerts and wait for the alert to go off, and then I'll manage the trade from there. Some of you might need this as well when you're day trading, because a lot of people say, oh, I took it off early, or man, I should have held, or I get emotional when I look at the chart. It's like, once you get into the trade, your job is done. Set your alerts, set your take profit and stop loss, set your bracket orders or your OCO orders, whatever it may be. And just don't look at the screen, because it doesn't matter how much you look at it. It's not going to make it hit your target any quicker. So again, please create your rule list, because you got to set yourself up for success. All right. Hopefully that answers the process question tangent that I went into later on. Let's get into the next order of business. Let's stop sharing the screen for a bit. We'll get back to the screen later on. Let's see. All right. I definitely skipped over this entire section. So I'm going to be going over how trading can negatively affect your life, and then, of course, the good things. And then we'll go over some books that are good. And then we're going to go over some coaching benefits, or the benefits of coaching, my experiences, etc. And then the practice and exercise that my mentor helped me go through that really got my life in order. All right, so how can trading negatively affect you? Self-image issues. So self-image issues, when I was going through that time in my life, I was like talking bad, talking down to myself, like, oh, like you suck, like you're this, you're that, because I would lose in trading. One thing that Randy Howell taught me, thankfully I learned this before, but he helped reinforce it, is, you as an individual and then you as a trader are two very different things. And a lot of people like to combine them. If you're losing at trading, that doesn't mean that you suck in real life, or, you're a loser, or whatever words you may use to bring yourself down. Trading, like anything else, is a skill, right? If I pick up, I don't know, if I pick up welding for tomorrow, like tomorrow, I'm gonna suck at welding because I don't know about it. I don't really understand it, right? I'm not gonna say, oh, Desi or Advent, you're a loser because you don't know how to weld. It's like, no, I have to put in the time and I have to study so I can learn how to weld well. So same thing for trading. If you're not doing well when you're trading, you got to ask yourself, are you putting in the study time? Are you studying properly? Are you journaling? Are you doing the things that you need to do to succeed? If not, that's a conversation you have to you have to have with yourself. But again, always separate yourself as a trader and as an individual. What I would say with my personal experiences and many people that I've worked with, this is more prevalent in men that I've worked with, and again, my experiences is where, you know as the breadwinner, or the alpha male, or the man in the family, whatever you want to call it. If we're not making money, we may look down on ourselves, or whatever it may be, and we may bring ourselves down. But again, that's a very dangerous slope to be on, because it can cause many, many problems. What I would say, that were invaluable tools for me, therapy definitely helps a lot. I know, like in the Black community and in the Spanish community, I'm Spanish, but we're Black anyway. So, in like our community, therapy and seeking professional help in that capacity, is not really spoken on. So, therapy is great. It can definitely help a lot. So definitely look into that if you have not already. Um, and of course, coaching, which we'll get over later. Anyway, so again, you as a trader, you as an individual, very, very separate things. Just understand, um, that when you approach trading, you have to also separate being a individual and then having like a trader's mind, as Randy Howell mentions, right? So, if you try to approach trading with this, like, I'm going to make this happen, or like this certainty based mindset, or, I'll give you guys an example. If you're like in a 9 to 5 job or whatever it may be, how do you get promoted, right? You put in the work, you put in the hours, um, you know, you, what's the word? Um, you take action, right? In trading, it's similar but different, in the sense of, yeah, you put in the work by studying and back testing and all that other stuff. But when it comes to actually trading in the trading session, it's opposite. When we're trading, we can't make anything happen with the market. All we can control is pressing the button to get in and out of the trade, and that's it. So if you try to make things happen while you're trading, you're going to be in a world of hurt. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that from experience. Like, I'll get it. Like, before, I would get into a trade, be like, all right, I'm not going to take profit until it hits this level. But what if it doesn't hit the level? Now what? Right? So again, you want to make sure that you're not approaching trading as you would in, like, your regular life outside of trading, because there's two very different things. And before I continue, I have not asked you guys, is everything making sense that I'm talking about? Have any of you guys experienced that? Sweet. So the next part about the poll that I made was financial issues that trading can bring. Um, Thankfully, at least for me in my experience, um, I guess the only financial issue that I would have had was during that time when I was like, I'm a financial guru, I'm an expert, this and that, blah 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 blah. I took 10K out of my 401k, and I should have listened to my dad, because my dad was like, hey, put that money back like yesterday. I'm like, nah, dad, I got this. I know what I'm doing, this and this and that. That 10K that I took from my 401k shredded all that. But thankfully, I learned from my mistake. So besides that 10K, and of course the other 4K that I mentioned on that other trade earlier in today's session, I never had problems financially with trading. But I have heard many horror stories when it comes to trading and financial issues. That's why I always tell everyone, if you're going to go into trading, you want to do it the right way. You don't want to use money that you need, because it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. I'll share with you some stories, and of course, I'll keep it anonymous to be respectful. Um, remember there was this guy who he said that his dad sold the house and he gave him like 500K. It was like during GameStop. He put the 500K into GameStop and took that to like 1.2, 1.3 mil, never cashed out. And I think when he came to me, I think he was down to like 20K from the half a mil that he started with, and then the 1.2 that he got to. He was at 20,000. Needless to say, I haven't heard from him since. He asked me about options, and haven't heard from him since then. Cool. So moving on, that was one story. Excuse me. That was one story. Another individual, as those who know about prop firms and stuff like that, you pay for the challenges and this and that. This individual has probably, from what I know, probably spent in excess of $10,000 or more, probably a lot more, in resets, account activations, and challenge fees, and has never gotten a payout as far as I know. And yeah, you don't want to be in that situation. As far as I know, I think that person is is in debt. Jesus. So if you think that trading is going to get you out of a bad situation, when you're in a mental state such as this individual, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not gonna work, because you're not trading from a level head. You're trading out of desperation, and you're putting yourself in a bigger hole. So, and I'll go over that a little more later. But again, there's also people and stories that I've come across where people go short on positions, never puts a stop loss, come back to like losses in like 6 figures, 7 figures. I doubt they're trading anymore or ever will be again, because you got to pay that back. And if you don't, you declare bankruptcy and probably still got to pay that back somehow. I don't really know how that works, but yeah, trading can be very bad for you financially if you don't approach it properly and with proper guidance. The next thing is relationships. Like I mentioned, for me, with my personal relationships, with my girl at the time, my friends, family, all that stuff, I was always on the charts. I was literally glued to the screen, studying, looking at the charts, trading, all that stuff, and neglecting my relationships, and that affected them a lot. So you want to make sure that you're balancing everything. Now, of course, if you are going to be spending a lot of time learning this, at least communicate, hey, babe, or hey, friends, or whoever, you know, I learned something new. I think it'd be great, very beneficial for me or for us or for whatever, you know, I may need an hour or two extra a day to focus on this. That way they're on the same page. And again, make sure to take care of yourself as well, which I'll go into next. Um, but there's a lot of people that I've seen and the stories that I've read where they completely neglect all of that. I did that, and I'm telling you from experience, it gets bad. So you have to be sure, that you're doing everything properly, or at least as proper as you can. And sometimes, all I will say is this. Remember somebody told me the story where like his girlfriend or his wife was like, "Oh, you're always on the charts and you're always on this," when he was learning. And as soon as the money started coming in and they were going on vacations every month, she didn't say a peep. So for all you women out there who your man trades and he's learning, give him some time. Or learn with him and do it together, if this is your thing. Anyway, moving on. So, unhealthy habits, another thing that trading can affect. Like I mentioned earlier, for me, I was like sleep. I wasn't sleeping for like a good half year, maybe 3 4 hours a day, if that. I literally wake up at 4 a.m., go to bed like at midnight or 1 in the morning, wake up right again at 4 a.m., like clockwork, every day. I was. I'm surprised I survived, honestly, because nowadays I can't survive under like 7 hours of sleep. But yeah, I was neglecting everything else. I wasn't eating properly. I wasn't working out properly, all that good stuff. So be sure that when you are going to, trade and stuff, that you still have your routine outside of trading. Um, just so things don't fall off the hinge. Because like I said, it can get very, very bad. And cool. So the next topic that I'll go over is I'm going to squeeze this one in since we won't be for this specific topic too long. Let's see, we're at 127. Cool. So knowing yourself, that's going to be key. Another key when it comes to your trading success. Because knowing yourself is very, very important. So you know what triggers you, what doesn't trigger you, things like that. So for me, as you guys know, like I mentioned, when it's 12 noon, I get off from the charts because I know myself. Even though I have my rules and this and that, if I know that if I stay on the chart after 12, I'm going to take another trade. I already know that about myself. So I eliminate the enticement, because what I used to do is I'll get off at 12, but I'll leave my chart open. So if I walk by my desk, I'll look at my screen, like, oh, that looks like it's a setup that's setting up. Let me see what's going on, and then I'll take a trade, and then I'll lose money, and then I'll be upset. So I already know myself. Once 12 noon hits, everything gets shut down because I'm gonna take another trade. Same thing I mentioned as well earlier. If I'm tired, I'm more susceptible to be emotional. And if I get emotional, I'm going to have a real bad day. So I just avoid trading when I'm tired. For something that some of you may experience, and people that have told me that I've worked with, is looking at P&L. If looking at your P&L gets you emotional, turn off your P&L. As soon as you get in the chart, set your alerts, whatever that may be, whatever that may be, and then, you know, just focus on the chart. If the chart got you in, get out with the chart. Don't look at the money, because you're going to get out early. You're going to take profit quick. You're going to stop out quick, or you're going to and the opposite, you might let your trade run. You might let your trade run even more red because you start hoping that it'll reverse. So again, you need to know yourself and know what your triggers are. And understand that, you shouldn't be looking at other people's P&Ls either, because people might be looking in the profit sections and be like, oh, they're making 1,000. I want to make 1,000 too. You'll get there eventually. But again, in due time, you got to go through your own journey. I started making 10 to 50 bucks a trade. Again, you got to start somewhere, and you don't know where that person is at in their journey. So again, you want to take your time with this. If you go to college, you're not going to, let's say you're going for, I don't know, engineering, you're year 1, somebody's year 4. You're not going to be like, I want to know exactly what the year 4 person knows. You can't cram 4 years of knowledge in 1 year, as far as I know, for engineering. So you got to put in your time and put in your hours. Doesn't come free. Anyway, I made some little notes here. Are you competitive? Do you hate losing? Stuff like that. Because if you are competitive, you may find yourself competing with other traders. If you're here to compete with other traders, I'm gonna tell you right now, this is not a business for you, because the only person you compete with is yourself. I remember once somebody told me that they ended red that day. I'm like, why did you end red? Like, everything was super clean. They're like, oh, I was trading with a group, and, this person was making money, and I want to make more money than they did. I'm like, what? Why? I never taught you how to trade in a group or to trade with a group. So again, if you're competitive, this ain't the place for you. I'll tell you that. And if you hate losing as well, because again, you're going to lose a lot when it comes to trading. It is what it is. You can't escape it. You just got to learn to accept it and move on. You got to be okay with losing. Cool. All right. I think that's what I have for that. Let's see. Where are we at? 132. Anything else? Let's quickly go over expectations in trading. Let me bring this up real quick. All right, trading expectations. You're not gonna be a millionaire in a month, in a year, maybe in a year. Very, 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 very rare. But hey, don't think you are immediately. Can you get there? Absolutely. So, proper expectations when it comes to trading. You need to understand that trading is like anything else. It's skill. Like I mentioned with college earlier, with college, you got to put your years in, 2 years, 4 years, master's, PhD, whatever you want to try to go for. So, you need to put the time in. Don't expect to start making money, in a week or in a month. Well, actually, I'll take that back, because with proper guidance, you can make money in a month, but we'll get to that later on. But more so like consistently, right? Because anybody can make money in a week, but can you keep it? So, understand there's many layers when it comes to trading. Strategy is one component, but, the mentality, the mindset, the discipline, stuff like that is an entirely different component. that you'll need to learn as well. And remember, this is your journey. You can look at other people's journey as like motivation, but you don't want to compare yourself. What's that saying? It's like, I think comparison is the thief of joy. Because like, oh man, these people are making 1,000 a week or 1,000 a day. I want to do that too, but I'm only making $50 a day. It's like, all right, but 2 months ago you were making zero a day. So be grateful for where you are. And as you slowly grow your account, you'll be able to hit those numbers more and more, right? So again, you have to have the expectation that while you will get there, you're going to get there when you get there. You can't force it. In trading, you can't force anything, period. All you can control, again, is yourself and your actions when you're getting in, in and out of a trade. Any other expectations that I can think of? Yeah, again, understand that this is like a whole nother language. Like if you showed me this chart when well, actually, let me bring up my chart again. If you showed me this chart when I was first starting out trading, I'd be like, what the heck am I looking at? What are these green bars? What are these lines? What are these numbers in the chart? It's a lot of information. So when you first start trading, it's going to be a lot of information. I'm going to tell you that, a ton of information. So when you first start trading, your biggest concern should be learning, studying, and collecting data. Your focus should not be making money. That comes way later on once you get this down packed. So understand that, the first month or two might just be a lot of researching and studying. And of course, you can paper trade and practice and things like that. But you really need to understand what you're doing before the money really comes in. Like I've mentioned in other classes, right now I'm teaching my cousin how to trade. And thankfully, he came to me when he wanted to learn how to trade instead of like the internet and TikTok and all that other stuff. So I'm teaching him the right way. I think he came to me, Mike, if you're in here, it's been like 2 months? Something like that? 2, 3 months? I've had him studying and paper trading for the last 2, 3 months. And it's only now that we're talking about having him go live because he's been showing consistency in everything that we've gone over. So, if you are new to trading, again, you want to take your time and slowly go towards the process or, through the steps. All right, I think anything else on expectations? I'll probably come back to this later. Can't really think of anything right now. All right, let's talk about some books because people always ask, what are good books to read? Well, I'll mention some trading books and some mindset books. Let's see. All right, so I got a few here that hopefully you guys can kind of see, which I'll go one by one. And there might be some that I don't have physically that I have an audiobook version. Anyway, my brother gave this to me. Shout out to my brother, even though I'm a little salty at him because he's been trading or investing for like 20 years and he never told me. And I had to figure this out myself 4 years ago. Anyway, so Money is My Friend. This is a fantastic book because, in some culture, well, I'll just speak for my culture anyway. We're not necessarily like raised, or at least in my experience and other experiences of people that I know, is we're not necessarily taught to I wouldn't say value money, but like be okay with money. Because you always hear like, um, you know, like, oh, like money's the root of all evil, or this and this and that. But it's like, is it? Is it the root of all evil? Because money is just the frequency, like anything else. I'm not gonna go too deep into the spiritual stuff, but you have to be comfortable with money. You can't be afraid of it and all that other stuff. So this book is great. You can probably find it for free online. It's pretty old, I think. Does it give the date when it was made? 1989 or 2002, one of those. All right, pretty old. All right, that is a great book. Another book for mentality, Think and Grow Rich. Highly recommend this book. I don't necessarily read it every month, but I listen to like a cliff notes of it every single month. It's maybe like 2 hours long, just to keep myself in that rhythm and that space. Um, the links to all these books are in the description of this video. To be transparent, because I have to. They are affiliate links from Amazon, so if you do get them, I get paid a percentage to support the channel. It doesn't increase the cost to you. Amazon just gives me a piece of it. So if you would like to get the physical books, you can definitely use those links if you would like. You don't need to, but it can definitely help support the channel. Cool. As I mentioned earlier, about being a good loser, The Best Loser Wins by Tom Hogard or Hugord, whatever. However, I always forget how to pronounce his last name. Definitely a great book because, again, losing is part of the trading journey. You cannot escape it. Maria, which one? Think and Grow Rich? That one you couldn't stick with? If you can't stick with the book, go to, hold on, let me share my screen again real quick. Where is this? Is it in motivation? There we go. All right, so Maria, go to my group and go to the motivation channel and look at the Think and Grow Rich study notes. I think it's like an hour or 2 hours. It just like talks about the most key portions of the books. I'm more of a listener than a reader anyway. It took me forever to read these books because I'm a slow reader, but listening helped me a lot. So if you listen better, watch this. Anyway, mentality wise, another good one, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Great guy, a lot of great information here. Not going to go too deep into it. Trading book for the mindset and mentality of stuff. Highly recommend The Mental Game of Trading by Jared Tendler. This is, I wouldn't say it's similar, but it's in the same vein of Trading in the Zone. But to me, this is more like modernized, and it gives a better breakdown of like a lot of practices that can help you in your emotional and mindset and mentality journey and disciplines in trading compared to Trading in the Zone. My personal bias, I would choose this over Trading in the Zone. I have read both. I just like this one a lot better. This one my brother gave to me as well. Trading for a Living. Trading for a Living. Now, this one's pretty old as well. The pages feel ancient too. 1993. Yeah, old enough. Actually, or maybe older than that. 1976. Anyway, these books are excellent. Highly recommend them. Trading for a Living, I think that was like the first trading book that I've ever read. And then I went to like Trading in the Zone and all those other ones. Anyway, now that the books are done and out the way, oh, before I forget, the Candlestick Bible. If you're a new trader, highly recommend the Candlestick Bible. That'll teach you a lot of basics when it comes to trading. Personally, when it gets to like the strategy portion of the book, I would just ignore that if you're going to be learning the strat or any other specific strategy. Um, just my 2 cents on the matter. All right, next portion. Let's see. So we got into that, and of course, I forgot to make a note. That was what, 37? Let's use 37 for now. All right, next portion. Coaching. Let's go over coaching, ladies and gents. And I'll maybe not give a disclaimer, but I will address some things that tend to be popular in the trading community for whatever reason. And I honestly don't understand. Well, I understand it, but it's stupid. So, what I've noticed a lot in the trading community is that, like, people would say, like, oh, you can learn how to trade for free online and this and that. If somebody's trying to teach you, they're probably a scammer and this and this and that. And I don't get that thinking, in the sense of, yeah, like, are there scammers out there? Absolutely, 100% there's scammers out there. But it's like, look at all the successful people, right? Even outside of trading, doesn't matter. You can speak on Jeff Bezos, all these millionaires, billionaires, whatever. What do they all have in common? They all have a mentor. They all have somebody who helped them, who taught them. So this notion of, like, not, and again, you can learn how to trade and not and not have a mentor and things like that. But wouldn't it make sense to get a mentor that can help you speed up that process? And even for many things in life, right? Like, even me and my life coach, when I met him like 2 years ago, there's a lot of things that I didn't even know that he taught me about. And then, of course, with my trading mentors. And yeah, I couldn't have gotten a coach 2 years ago. Would I be in the place that I am now? Probably not. excuse, excuse me. Probably not. But understand that, when it comes to learning from somebody else or anything, it could be paying for books, paying for courses, paying for mentorship, whatever. It doesn't matter. You're either going to pay in time or you're going to pay in money. And you got to decide what is more important to you. So for me, my time is more valuable than money. When I met my coach or my life coach or my mentor, I'll just say mentor before I keep on saying all of the terms. When I met my mentor 2 years ago, I was tired of where I was in my life. I didn't care what I needed to spend because I was going to shred all the money anyway if I continued in the path that I was on. So I'm like, let me just spend money to get results. Or at least, again, I didn't even know that I would get results. I just took a leap of faith. So I'm going to go on a little rant/tangent. Of course, I work with people budget-wise if you're not in the best of financial situations. But please, 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 I charge $200 a session. If you're in my group or other groups that I'm in, you get a discounted price. You just have to ask me before you book the session, and I'll give you the code for the discount. Anyway, if you come to me and you tell me that my prices are too high, or that even the discounted price is too high, do not send me a message and do not ask me to work with you. Because if you're shredding thousands of dollars trading, but you can't spend $150 to change your trading life around, please do not message me, because I personally, I take that as, well, let me not say that I take it as disrespect. I won't go that far. But to me, you will shred thousands of dollars into the 5-6 figures, but you won't spend $100 or $150 or $200 or $25 one time to join my group. That is not a recurring charge. So if you're gonna come at me with that cheap energy, please do not message me. I'm good. Go get help from somebody else, because there needs to be an even exchange. You guys want everything for free. You're not gonna get a free lunch from me, besides this class and other ones that I've had. So again, the reason I say this is because people will shred thousands of dollars, but will not pay $150 as, how do I say this? People will not spend $150 to something that could potentially help them. When I got my mentor, I spent over $10,000 in coaching with no guarantee of results. Zero guarantee of results. And I took that leap. Within that same year, within a year's time of working with him and my other strat mentors that helped me, I've made all that money back and more and more. So if you're not ready to spend even $25 to join my group or to work with me, then you're not serious, and I don't want to work with you. I only want to work with serious individuals, because when I give people free knowledge or a free class or whatever it may be, or a free one-on-one, they don't take it serious. So to make it fair for me, to make it fair for you, you need to pay, period. Anyway, moving on. Also, one last little piece of rant that I'll go on. This I take as disrespect. If you want help from me and I give you the links to all my services, don't tell me, oh, why I have to pay, but I already spent this much money with these people. I don't care what you spent with other people. That is irrelevant to me. That is disrespectful. You paid them, but you're not going to pay me? Come on. Ridiculous. Anyway, moving on. So, coaching is incredibly beneficial because it can speed up your learning process. I've worked with probably over 200 people at this point in my coaching time coaching anyway. And it's sped up a lot. In literally like a week's time, people's results have changed. You can ask anybody that I've worked with. You can just look at my reviews on my WAP page. You know what? For those who don't have it, let me add it to the chat. If I can find it. I never have these links ready. There we go. So, coaching can definitely help you bridge the gap a lot quicker than you normally would by yourself. And again, what's more important to you, time or money? You have to make that distinction. For me, my time and my way of living was way more important than money. So I just spent the bread. I spent the money and got the results. So again, if you want quicker change, a mentor is definitely the way to go. What else was I going to speak on this topic? Cool. And again, not every mentor may be for you. Like I've had people come to me where they say, I work with this person, but it wasn't as like detailed as you or this and that. And that's okay. There's some people who I've worked with that they may not have gotten the same experience as other people. Everybody's different. So of course, just do your research on the person, see if they're what you like, or if it's easy for you to understand whatever they're talking about, and if it works, hey, work with them, go from there. Anyway, moving on. Man, I was gonna say something else before I forgot. Before I went off on that tangent. Oh, another thing that I'll mention: if you are going to work with a mentor, for the love of everything, please listen to them. Please listen to your mentor. If you're going to work with somebody and you're going to pay them money and you're not going to listen to what they're teaching you or what they're telling you, then what are you doing? You're wasting your time, your money, and the mentor's time. I'll give you an example. I had somebody that I worked with recently. Again, I'll keep it anonymous to not throw any names out there. This individual messages me and says, "Here's a trade that I'm in. I know you would say to get out, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stay in this trade until it goes green." I never taught anybody to stay in a trade stubbornly, if that's even a word, or be stubborn and stay in a trade, because I told the individual, get out of that trade immediately, because they're gambling and they were clearly on tilt with the language that they were using. What ends up happening? Didn't listen to me, took a real big loss when it could have been a tiny one. So again, if you're going to work with somebody, please follow their guidance, or else what are you doing? You're working backwards. All right, enough ranting. Um, Before I continue, do you guys have any questions on the topic before I continue to the next portion? All right, no questions. Let's continue. All right. So when I finish this, then we can get into the. Actually, before I get into this, actually, no, this will be in this vein too. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is the practice slash exercise that my mentor took me through to get a blueprint on what I needed to change, what I wanted to change, and how I was going to change it. Let's look for this real quick. Do I want to be vulnerable and show you guys the document itself? Let's see. Let me find it. Uh, which one is this? This one? Hold on, I'm trying to find the... Oh, this is hilarious. I'll show you guys this one. Let me just block this out because somebody's name is here. Uh, let's fill that black and let's make that black as well. All right. Can you guys still see my screen? Shout out to my coach and the words he made me use. All right, can you guys see this? Type it in the chat if you can see that, because I can see it. Give me a quick little yes, quick little no. I'll give it another 30 seconds. All right, cool. So this practice is called an RPM plan, or so an RPM plan is basically comprised of 3 components: the results that you're committed to, the purpose, and then the massive action plan on how you will get there. So this was literally one of my sessions with one of my coach, or one of my mentor, on how I can monetize my trading knowledge. This is literally before I even started coaching at all. Well, actually, I was coaching and, like, giving, helping people, but I wasn't charging anything. I was just, like, talking to them. And then here I am 2 years later with a, in my opinion, successful coaching businesses. Coached over 200 different people. Love it. Anyway, so the first portion of this practice, and you guys are welcome to bring up a notebook or get your own document, and you can do this yourself with whatever you want, and we can do one together. I'll take direction from you guys when we're done with this one. So with the results that you're committed to, what do you want? Right? And we need to use specific language. It's not results that I hope to reach or results that I want, Excuse me. What results are you committed to? Everybody who's worked with me knows that the word hope is not allowed in your vocabulary. It doesn't exist, because we are committed to whatever goals that we want. Because if you use the word hope, if you use the word hope, you're allowing yourself a freebie if you fail. Oh yeah, I hope that trading would work with me, and then I hope this. But no, if you commit to something, there'd be more energy behind it. So the results that I was committed to was monetizing my knowledge and experience with trading and investing, by creating paid memberships, communities, selling my services, one-on-ones, etc., so on and so forth. Cool. So then the purpose, when it comes to the purpose, that's like, why do you want that, right? And the more the better language, the more details. You need to be as detailed as you can. Don't be like, because I want money. Why? Why is it that you want money? What will that bring to you, right? So in this one, monetizing my knowledge and expertise in trading and investing is important to me because it allows me to get paid for all the hard work and countless hours that I have put into trading. And then by me teaching that in other people, I will also create a transformation in their lives. Like one of the members in my group, you know, that me and my buddy helped, as far as I know, his wife doesn't work anymore, and his wife he makes he makes enough money now with trading and his job, where his wife doesn't need to work anymore. So now she can stay home and take care of the kids, and they can spend more time together because he's making a lot more money. So that was important to me. Give people the opportunity that I got that they didn't have. And like I mentioned, it'll let me be an inspiration to others and share my stories with other people who are struggling or have struggled with what I have gone through, depression, scarcity thinking, not being present, not showing up for loved ones, etc., so on and so forth. And then how will it make you feel? Um, Here are some that I came up with my mentor. He's very elaborate, but again, the more powerful words you use, the better. The more weight it's gonna have, right? How are you gonna feel? Don't be like, oh, I'm gonna feel good. Are you gonna feel powerful? Are you gonna feel sexy like a financial wizard? Whatever it may be, use a lot of powerful language when it comes to this section, because again, you need to be specific as possible, and you want to have that emotional drive behind it. Because if you just say I want to make money, all right, why do you want to make money? Well, I want to make money because it will allow me to spend more time with my kids. Well, why do you want to spend more time with my kids? Well, because when I grew up, I didn't spend that much time with my parents, and I want to give my kids a different life that I had. And, when I spend time with my kids and when they spend time with me, I feel great. I feel like, whatever words it is that you may want to use. And then the third portion would be the massive action plan. You know, what is the plan? What are the steps that you're going to take to reach that result that you want, that you committed to up here, right? So for me at the time, instead of just when people hit me up and giving them free advice, or getting on a call together for free, I'm like, all right, let me charge for this now, right? That was one way that I can monetize it to reach my goal. um, what got me into coaching, besides my mentor telling me, because I've always been a good teacher, I've always wanted to be in that role. And even some friends and people that I've been with, they're like, hey, like, you're a great teacher, you should look into this more. um, so you can create your plan on how you're going to achieve these results that you want, right? Is all that making sense before I continue? All right. So, any questions before I continue? Hopefully, the stream is not that delayed. I'll give it like another 30 seconds and then I'll continue. Yeah, like 20 seconds because it's delayed. All right. If you guys want to go over this exercise together, let me know and we'll do one together. You just have to let me know in the chat because I don't know if you want to or not. All right. I guess you guys don't want to go over this practice together. Moving on. All right. So the next thing, the first thing before. All right. Kia saved the day at the very end. All right. So what we're going to do here is, let me just bring this up. Uh, RPM results. I am committed to one purpose and massive action plan. All right, so give me a result that you are committed to, and anybody can chime in. Also, if you want to as well, if you want to talk as opposed to like type in the chat, you are more than welcome to. Let me see if I can find this link. You're more than welcome to get in the Zoom link that I just posted, which should still be valid. So you can talk and we can talk for this process if you don't want to type. Just remember, if you are going to talk on the Zoom, just mute YouTube because it's going to be delayed. And so we won't get feedback. Will I be answering trading questions later? Yeah, after we're done with all of this, then I'm going to go into the Q&A. It depends on the type of question. Depending on the type of question, I may not answer it. All right. I am committed to living a life of financial freedom. All right. All right. Why? Why do you want to live a life of financial freedom? What's the reasoning? What's the purpose behind it? Thinkorswim mechanics, I probably won't go over today. Strat questions, I'll see how I feel in 10 minutes when we go into that. But I don't really want to go over too much technicals. This class is mainly for like mindset and stuff like that. But maybe I'll touch into that because I just want to keep the topic in the same realm of what we're talking about today. All right. Financial freedom. Let's be dramatic and make it all capital. Financial freedom will provide, whoops, can't spell, provide time and let's be more specific than location freedom. Will provide let's see, how can I word this? Financial freedom will provide me with more time to spend with my daughter. It will also allow me to work and travel from anywhere in the world. And you didn't add this, but I'm gonna add it for you. Again, I'm assuming, but again, you can let me know. Um, Actually, I'll ask you: is traveling the world with your daughter because, of course, you wanna experience what other cultures have to have, and you also want to show your daughter the different cultures that the world has to have and has and that it has to offer? All right, cool. So again, the more specific we are, the better. So it will provide me to spend more time with my daughter. It would also allow me to work and travel from anywhere in the world. Um, this is important to me because I would like to experience and share the different cultures the world has to offer with my daughter. You see how we're more specific than location freedom and time freedom, right? We get more specific into what the idea is behind it. And of course, it could be a lot of other purposes that this could just be one portion of it. And then, of course, how will it make you feel when you are able to travel the world and work from wherever you want and spend all that time with your daughter and, friends, whatever it may be? How will it feel? And remember, let's use as many specific words as we can. The more specific, the better. Cool. All right. Great words. I will feel powerful, uh, in full control of my destiny, and accomplished. Let's make it a little fun. Will you also feel like a super mom? I will feel like a super mom. Make it fun as well. Doesn't have to be all serious all the time. There we go. Feel like the ultimate super mom. Whoops. You see how more powerful that is as opposed to, I will feel good. I will feel great. You know, you want to give yourself that emotional charge, because if there's no charge behind it, you're going to have a hard time. All right, massive action plan. What are 3 steps that we can take to reach this goal? The cape, do we have an emoji for a cape? Let me see. Let me see if it lets me drag this in here. Does it let me drag it? Oh, no, it doesn't. Can I copy this? I guess I have to insert it. Where is that screenshot? There we go. All right. It's not the cleanest screenshot, but I'll take it. There's your cape, your red cape. All right, next steps. So remember, for the steps, it's clear direction on what we need to do. So consistency, what does that mean? We need to be very specific. For example, I'll help you out. What specific issue are you having in your trading right now? Like, what's something very specific that you're having trouble with in your trading right now? Let's see. So we can use studying more. But again, we have to be specific. How much time a day are we going to study for? 15 minutes? 30 minutes? An hour? 2 hours? Cool. I will commit to studying for an hour a day, or on the weekend, or whatever it may be for you. All right, let's say, uh, let's see, what was the other one? Let's use having FOMO, because that's a big one. Breaking rules, FOMO. All right. The question that I have is, what causes the FOMO? Because we need to figure out what's the root of the FOMO. Is it looking at the chat? Is it looking at people's profits? What is it? Mm. So I commit to not looking at the profit section. And what can you do? Um, hide or mute the channel. I will have, I commit to, well, actually, the desperation in trading, I'll get to that in a bit because that's a different topic than right now for this specific section. But, breaking rules FOMO in the sense of like, because of watching people's money, what's a simple step that we can do to avoid that? You know, muting the profit section. That's why generally I don't post my profits. At most, maybe I'll post like percentages if I'm trading options, but it's very rare because, I don't want people to get so caught up in the, um, to get so caught up in, like how much I made or how much somebody else made, stuff like that, right? So again, get off of the profit screens, off the chats, all that stuff. When you're trading, you are trading, not you and your friends, not you and your group. You are trading. That's it. When you're done trading, sure, go hang out, have fun in the group. But again, you want to set yourself up for success. Getting triggered or enticed by other people's profits is not helpful at all in the slightest. 100%. Print out your trading rules, get it laminated. It's like I probably spent like $3 a page at FedEx. They laminated it for me there. $3. That's nothing. Cool. So, with this practice, you guys can, run by yourselves in more detail. But again, you have to be very, very specific on the plan and the steps to achieve it. You don't want to be vague. Like, I want to be more consistent. It's like, all right, that doesn't tell you anything. Remember, it's an action plan. If you say I want to be consistent, that's not an action. Now, if you say I want to wake up every day at 7 a.m. and I want to be on the charts by 9:15 a.m., then that's an action that you can take. I want to every single day I'm going to journal my trades. That's an action that you can take. So you have to be very, very, very specific with in the action plan state, and of course the other portions as well. Is that clear? Any questions before we continue? And after you guys answer that question, the last thing that we're going to be going into is the another thing that my mentor had me go through. This part, a lot of people are not going to like, I'll tell you that, but we got to do it anyway. All right. Next step. So this is what my mentor called like creating conscious change, right? We need to be aware, we need to be mindful, we need to be conscious of, what needs to change for us to get to where we want to be, right? So step one is going to be you can title it creating conscious change, at least that's what he had me title it. And step one is you can write being honest with myself or being honest with oneself. You know, at the end of the day, you need to sit down with yourself And you need to you need to sit down with yourself and really be honest. What are you doing that's messing you up? What are you doing that is not helping you reach your goals when it comes to trading? Where are you not showing up in your life? Where are you not showing up in your trading? Whatever it may be, you know? Again, I get it. I was there before, but I'd say a new pet peeve of mine is when people ask me questions trading wise, um, and this is not to dissuade you from asking me questions. Let me give you the full context. A pet peeve of mine is when people ask me questions and they don't do the work. If you ask me, um, to be fair, I'll say this for people who are new to the strat and don't understand what the numbers mean. If you have been in a group that I've been in for months and I've told people, hey, watch these videos to make my watch list make sense. If you ask me what do the candles under the or what do the numbers under the candles mean and you don't know, maybe that's a bad example. But anyway, I'll go ahead and send you the material, like the YouTube video, so you can understand what the numbers under the candles mean, right? But if you ask me a specific question that you should have learned in the material that I've sent, then I'm gonna be reluctant to answer it because again, a lot of people want everything for nothing. You have to put in the work. I give you all the tools, but you need to do the heavy lifting. I'm not going to give you every answer in the book just because you're lazy to not go through the material. I've put thousands of hours into this, and some people don't even want to give a 20-minute video the time of day. If you don't even do that, then you're not serious about this. Period. And I will die on that hill. You're not serious about that. Another thing that I'll mention, which is a combo that you guys need to have with yourselves, and when it comes to being honest with yourself, is take responsibility for your own actions. I used to be, oh, the market made me lose money, the market made me do this, or this person's call out made me lose money, and blah, blah, blah. Did it really? Did they press the button for you, or did you press the button to get into that trade? A lot of people don't like looking themselves in the mirror, except for them going out on a date, but that's a different story. But when it comes to being honest with oneself, it must be done, period. You will never succeed if you do not be honest, if you're not honest with yourself. Because if you lie to yourself, then you're never going to get to the root of what needs to be fixed or what needs to be looked at. For me, I had to take 2 months off of trading 2 years ago and literally get a freaking notebook and write down everything where I wasn't showing up properly in my life, what I was doing wrong in trading, everything. And it was only until I literally sat with myself, I'm like, wow, all of this is my own doing, and all of this I can change. So, um, you know, if you're one of those individuals who like to blame things outside of yourself, I would highly advise you to get a pen and paper and really write everything down that you're doing. And be honest with yourself. Don't lie to yourself, or else you're just wasting your time. So, um, I'll give you an example. Some people may be like, oh, I just don't have time for this, or I don't have time for that. But they're the same ones sending me, Instagram videos all day. You got time to be on Instagram, but you don't have an hour to study. You don't want this. You can spend 5 hours watching a show, but you can't spend 1 hour studying to learn a skill that can be invaluable to you. You don't want this. Again, you need to sit down and really be honest with yourself. And then from there is when you can create proper change. After you have all of that written down, of course, the next step is going to be the RPM plan, the plan that we just went over, the exercise. Excuse me. Excuse me. And then you can slowly tackle every portion that you want to change where you're not showing up properly, and then moving from there. The next, and so step one is being honest with yourself and writing it down, pen and paper, specifically pen and paper, not on your computer, because you need to pen and paper. You need to take your time with this. You can't rush through it. Step two, like I just mentioned, the RPM plan that we had earlier. And then step three is going to be changing your limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs plays a huge part in many portions in our life. For example, do you think that you're even worthy of being financially free? Do you think you're worthy of making easy money trading the stock market? I'll give you one of my experiences. Every time I would talk to my dad, he would always be like, "Hey, son, go back to school." I finished school for psychology, but I never went back for my master's. He's like, "Hey, go back to school, finish getting your master's, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. That's the only way to make a lot of money, right?" But here I am making a lot of money trading. So because of that limiting belief that he kept on telling me, every time I would make a lot of money trading, I would give it right back, because there was a part of me subconsciously that did not believe that I deserved or that you can make a lot of money trading. But clearly, as we can tell, that is far from the truth. So, step three, create a list of all your limiting beliefs. Do you believe that you may not be worthy of whatever being financially free, making money trading, whatever it may be, whatever it is in your life that you are limited on, or whatever people may tell you, or both. Something that I would note is you need to have proper boundaries with individuals. I know that may be hard for some people, but it must be done. Like with my dad, when he kept on doing that, but for me to get better, I had to stop hearing that, right? To get out of that. I told him, "Hey, look, when we're talking about this, I would appreciate if you don't bring this up, if you don't say X, Y, and Z." And hopefully the person on the receiving end will respect you enough to abide by your boundary. I know sometimes for some people that's not the case. Hopefully that is the case in your situation. If not, then just avoid the topic completely with that individual, whatever it may be, as best as you can. So limiting beliefs, write that down. And then the second part of step three is you're going to write down your accepting beliefs. Accepting beliefs is like, so there's limiting beliefs, accepting beliefs, and then your new beliefs, or your affirmations, whatever you want to call them. And the accepting beliefs is like the bridge between your limiting beliefs and then your new beliefs. For example, limiting belief: I'm not worthy of having financial freedom. Your accepting belief is I am looking forward. Excuse me. Your accepting belief can be I am looking forward to becoming a millionaire or making six figures from here on out every year, and being financially free and traveling and X, Y, and Z. And then your new belief would be in what it would look like in present time. So your new belief could be like something like, I am so happy and grateful that I am now living a financially free life where I don't need to work a job anymore and I get to do what I want. You can name it whatever you want. Or, I am so happy and grateful that I am now making 10,000 plus USD a month by trading, or again, whatever it may be. Cool. So all that making sense before I continue to step 4 of creating conscious change? All right, step 4. Step 4 is setting yourself up to win. Some little phrases that you can write down. We cannot track what we do not measure. So, what does that mean? If you're a trader, you need to journal all your trades. You need to collect data. You need to see what works. You need to see what doesn't work. That's like in a restaurant or whatever business. What are your clients buying? What do they want? What do they not want? You need to, collect that data in order to succeed. Same thing for trading. You need to track, your trades and everything else. How you show up, how you don't show up, all that stuff, where you can improve. Another saying that you can have is, if you talk about it, it's a dream. If you envision it, it's possible. And if you schedule it, it is real. So you can apply that to whatever you want. And yeah, so again, setting yourself up to win, creating your rule list, creating your trading environment to be good for you, in the sense of, if you get distracted easily, put your phone on do not disturb, turn off all the groups, just trade. If you don't know what your best setups are, look through your journal, start writing more details. I took a 2-1-2 up off a 4-hour. I took 10 4-hour 2-1-2 ups. 8 of them won, 2 of them lost. I took 10 1-hour 2-1-2 ups. 5 of them lost, 5 of them won. So now you can see that 2-1-2 ups on the 4-hour work better than the 1-hour. So again, you want to collect as much data and be as specific as you can to understand what works and what doesn't work. One of the biggest things that Randy Howell told me is, your trading space is sacred. When I'm trading, again, even though I do support other groups and I do my best to support them while I'm trading, my phone is on do not disturb. The groups are muted. And then people that I know in real life, because people who don't trade, they don't understand what we're doing. They just think we're on a computer all day. But it's like, we're working, right? So you need to tell them, hey, from this time to this time, I'm working. So unless it's an emergency, please don't call me, or please don't come to my desk while I'm trading, right? I'm not trying to see Instagram memes at market open. I'm trying to catch this trade right now. So again, your trading time is sacred. Make it as such. Cool. Let's see. Anything else? I guess some random things that I'll mention. It's okay to take time off of trading, especially if you're in like a desperation mindset. Because again, like I've known people who they've got into some really bad spots really bad spots financially and, with their family and whatnot because they kept on trading out of desperation. So if you need to take a month off of trading or 2 months or whatever it may be, do what you got to do. The market isn't going anywhere. Get your life together and then come back to trading. Another thing that I'll mention, since I didn't talk about it before, I'll give you my experience as being a full-time trader. Um, it's boring as hell, I'll tell you that. I don't have a family, like kids or nothing like that. So um, for me, I have a lot of free time. That's why usually what I'm doing now is I'm studying. I'm studying for some licenses, so I can be like an actual financial advisor to occupy my time. So you know if you're gonna go full time, make sure you have a hobby. Make sure there's things that you may want to do because it's very boring. I will tell you that. There's a lot of time that I have that's free. Now, like my other friend who we went full time together, it's easier for him since, he has a family. He finishes, goes with his wife and his kids, and does all the stuff. So it's easy. And I also moved from where I used to live in New York. I live in Florida now, so I don't know that many people down here as I do in New York. So it can get very boring. So just keep that in mind. If you're gonna go full time, make sure to have a plan on how you're going to occupy your time because it can get very boring. And I know people who are like, yeah, I'm going to be in Mexico on the beaches every day. I'm like, all right, go do that. Let me know how it goes. Because after day number 5, having margaritas, it gets boring. I'll tell you that. Shit, after day 2, it gets boring. That's me anyway. So, something to keep in mind. So, anything else that comes to mind for me to share with you guys? I think that's pretty much it that I have. Well, I'll open it up for questions. So, any questions that you guys want to ask, put it in the chat. You can also join the Zoom link that's in the description if you just want to talk and ask questions instead. Whichever one. We can be here for like another 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and just asking questions, and then we'll wrap up and call it there. Anyway, type your questions in the chat. Actually, while you're typing your questions, I'll go through the other questions that people were asking near the beginning. Where is my chat? There we go. All right, let's see from the very beginning. How do I start? James, if you're in here, maybe you can clear that up. To polish up on my knowledge, I don't know what you know. So if you are new to trading, definitely the Candlestick Bible is good. You can also go on my channel, go hit the playlist tab, and then look at all the strat material in the strat playlist. If you need a strategy, that can help a lot. Let's see. Any other questions? We already went over my rules. A+ setups. I'm not going to go over that because my last trade recap videos have that, and I have some other videos on my channel about the W trade model. The Momo hammer shooter setup is there. How often do you wait for a 2 up, 2 down before you get in? I get in immediately, Vor, if you're still in here, or Maria. As soon as that trade triggers, I get into the trade immediately. Let's bring up our lovely chart now that everybody's been waiting for. They're like, yeah, all the boring mind stuff is out the way, and all the honesty stuff that I got to tell myself that I don't want to do. Let's talk about trading. Yeah. Anyway. So as soon as it triggers a direction, let's say Tesla, whether it's a 2 up or 2 down or whatever it may be, I'm getting into the trade immediately. Again, you just have to study whatever it is that you're trading. Tesla loves to go 3 up or down on the chart. Tesla is like king 3 candles on the 4 hour. So a lot of the time it's going to trigger both ways. If you get stopped out, it is what it is. There was a week where I got stopped 4 out of 5 times, and I'd take that L gracefully. So, and remember, if it triggers a 2 down, you can just get in on the 3 up on the other way. I would say though, on Thursday, whoever got in on both sides got chopped up because it triggered short, got stopped out, triggered long, got stopped out. Remember that after a big move in a stock, you might get a choppy next day because of the big range. You know, we had a big range here, and then not much happened on the Tuesday. It did go down like $3-4, which is great. But, you know, after a big day, you'll usually get like choppy action. So just keep that in mind. And something to note as well, on Friday, it gapped up on Friday. It gapped up here. I think, what happened on Friday? Let's see. So long above that level. I think I went over this yesterday. Oh, there we go. So remember, if the trigger is down here and you're getting in up here, that is incorrect, and you are chasing the trade. The trigger is almost $1 away. The price opened up here, $1.50 away. I would have not gotten into that trade because you'll be chasing and your risk is a lot higher. So let's say, for the sake of the conversation, if my entry is supposed to be here, and let's say my stop loss is down here. If the candle opens here and you get into the call, now you're taking a loss of 3.5 if it does go against you, as opposed to $1 and change lost if it goes against you. So you never want to chase. And remember, TTOs exist. If you don't know what a TTO is, it's a pullback in the direction of the trend. Look at the strat playlist. There's a TTO video in there. So that'll happen. It is what it is. Like all of, I think 2 weeks ago, just straight 3 candles for a whole week. I was sick of Tesla. Got me pissed off. I lost 4 out of 5 days. But last week and this week helped a lot, especially this day. Wednesday was great. Let's see. I think I caught NVIDIA that day instead. Yeah, Wednesday I didn't take Tesla. I got NVIDIA. I wish I got Tesla. Tesla was a freaking monster. That thing hit all my targets off the watch list. But I didn't take it. I took NVIDIA instead. It is what it is. I'll catch the next one. But yeah, hopefully that helped. Let's see. I'm going through the chat, then I'm going through the most recent questions. Give me a sec. All right, Mr. Crypto asked, one of your rules mentioned finishing your morning routine. What does that look like, if you don't mind me asking? Or what would you suggest for someone with almost no routine? First and foremost, your morning routine starts with the day before. So, get some rest, sleep on at a decent time if you can. If you have kids, a busy job, I get it. Your sleeping schedule may suck. So my morning routine, as soon as I wake up, I do my affirmations. So I go on my phone, I read off my affirmations, and I click the little box to say that I read them. I get up, I go outside, I get some sun for about 5, 10 minutes. Walk around, get some air, come back, you know, stretch a little bit, do all that good stuff. And from there, make myself some breakfast. I eat protein mainly in the morning, because if I eat carbs, I get sluggish if I eat carbs in the morning. So I usually just eat protein, like eggs and stuff like that. Also, what I do as well, hold on, let me turn this light on. What I also, before, if anybody's ever asking, why is he always in the dark? I have sensitive eyes, so when I'm on the computer, I like to keep the lights off around me. So it usually helps because my light is low on my monitors, and just having too bright lights bothers my eyes. Anyway, so I make sure to eat protein breakfast mainly, and this next portion, of course, cold showers help as well in the morning if you want to be like fully energized and like awake and ready. That'll give you like a good hour to 2 hours of focus, because all that dopamine and all those things are flushing into your body. You can also drink some water, some salt water. Doesn't have to be like salt in your water, but what I do is get like my little salt shaker. Either just throw it in your on your tongue, pause, or on your hand, and then just lick it, pause, and then just drink some water after that. It'll help. It'll help wake you up, and keep you focused for at least an hour or two. And salt is very important in holding your focus, so keep that in mind. And then, yeah, that's pretty much my morning routine. I get on the charts. I probably like open up my charts at 8:30 usually, and then I'll like go finish up my breakfast and stuff like that. But usually I get on like at 9, 9:15. I already have my watch list done the day before, and then um, what was I gonna say? And then like the last 10, 15 minutes before market opens, I'll like scan all the time frames that I look for specific trade models on. And then if any are there, I'll set my trade and then just wait. And then I'll wait for market open. And then once the trade triggers, I'll get in there. Cool. What would I suggest for somebody with a morning routine? So if you don't have a morning routine, or you don't really have schedule or discipline, what I would recommend is getting a planner or getting a journal, whatever helps better, and physically write down your schedule for the day. you know, I'm gonna wake up at 7. At 7, from 7:05 to 7:10, I'm gonna do my affirmations. From 7:10 to 7:15, I'm gonna meditate. From 7:20 to 7:30, I'm gonna go for my walk, whatever it may be. The more you have your day planned, that's what my mentor had me do, because my life was all over the place. So, again, you need to schedule everything. I'm going to do this from this time, going to do that from that time. Sometimes you'll be off. We're human, things happen. But you want to schedule your time, and you want to get in that routine. If your sleeping sucks, like I mentioned, if you get some sun within an hour of waking up, you'll slowly program your body to learn to wake up during that time. So it'll help, help your sleeping schedule. Cool. So if your sleeping sucks, within the last 30 minutes to 45 minutes, well, for me, because my sleeping sucked at the time too. And then the plan that I got that I pretty much do to this day is the last like 30 minutes to 45 minutes of me going to bed, I get off like technology or watching TV, stuff like that. I'll put either, um, I'll either put like an affirmation video just playing in the background that I can fall asleep to, or some like, you know, sleeping sounds or whatever helps you sleep. That's what I usually do when I'm going to sleep. I also don't eat within the last 3 to 4 hours of me sleeping. So I usually go to sleep between, like I mentioned, like it's like 10:30 to 12. So the last time I have a meal will be 7 p.m. That's the latest. Besides today, because I'm having this class. So when I'm done with you guys, I'm gonna eat like something light. Because if I eat something heavy, it's gonna mess me up trying to sleep. So you don't want to eat anything too heavy before you go to bed, and give yourself a few hours because your body's going to be focused on digesting the food as opposed to sleeping. So again, set yourself up for success. Um, if you don't work out, start working out. I'm gonna tell you that. Yeah, you can read a book like Maria mentioned as well. I can't read books because I'm super slow at reading. At least books I know. I got to read like the same page like 3 times to like fully understand it. So I just listen to a book instead, or a podcast or the things that I've mentioned before bed. That helps me. But yeah, whatever works, definitely do that. But yeah, work out, go to the gym, all that other good stuff. No excuses. Oh, but I work and then I'm tired and then this and that. You can be on the internet for 10 hours, but you can't go to the gym for 20 minutes. Come on. You don't need a gym to do push-ups or sit-ups or crunches or whatever it may be, or go for a jog. Hopefully your neighborhood isn't dangerous, but there are many options. You know, People will find every excuse in the book to not do what needs to be done. And I heard this in a book, or not in a book, but like a podcast or a video the other day, or multiple times, and again the other day that reminded me. And like I mentioned earlier in this session, people want everything but don't want to put in the work for it. They want they want their free lunch. You're not going to get your free lunch. You want to make thousands of dollars trading and this and that, but you don't want to put the work into it. It's not going to work if you don't put the time in. Period. It's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. It's hard. It's challenging, but you need to stick with it. So again, don't think you're like, oh, I'm going to read this one candlestick book and I'm going to be successful. Negative. You are not. I've been trading for 4 years. It took me to the level that I am now. It took me 4 years to get here. So again, put in the time, put in the work. No excuses, period. All right, before I go into another tangent, let me know if that answered your question, Mr. Crypto. Let's see. Next question. How long did it take you to develop your trading mentality? Kia, I would say 4 years since I've been trading. I would say like until I started like consistently following my rules and stuff like that. Definitely like a good 2 years and change until I got it like down packed. Again, I still get emotional and similar thoughts still come up for me. I'm human, but I can manage myself better because I have my practices and things in place so I don't succumb to them. Like I told you guys earlier, if um, if I leave my chart open at 12 noon, I am 100% going to take a trade. 100% going to take a trade. So I completely eliminate that enticement and I shut everything down at noon and I go have lunch and do something else. So again, you need to know yourself. That's going to be a big component as well. You need to know yourself. And one thing that I will mention to people who may be struggling with the mental stuff, again, therapy definitely helped me a lot. Getting a coach helped me a lot. Working with Randy helped me a lot. But also putting into practice what I've learned. You know, you can read the mental game of trading, but are you putting into practice what they mentioned? I'll get people who hit me up. Like, I'll give you guys an example. We don't get emotional immediately. There are physical tells that we have, that we exhibit before we get emotional. You just have to study yourself and know what they are. Um, like Randy calls it, trading mindfully. Are you mindful of your actions? Are you mindful of what you're doing? Are you mindful of your triggers? For me, my tells is when I'm trading and before I would go on tilt or get like full blown emotional, whatever it may be, or get to the level that might be too late, I stop blinking. And then I stop blinking and I grip my mouse tight. And then I'm just fixated on the chart. My last tell before I need to shut everything down immediately is when I start sweating. When I start sweating, I know, like, when I feel that, to me, that's the last line of defense. How do I put this? That's the last line of defense that I have, I guess, mindfully, if that's even the right way to use this in this context. Before I know for a fact, if I don't get off the computer right now, I'm going to get myself into trouble. So as soon as I feel myself sweating, I immediately shut everything down. I'll go outside to my patio, terrace, whatever you want to call it. I'll close my eyes, do my breathing practices, and just breathe and just relax myself. Because if I stay in that emotional state, it's over for my ass. I'll tell you that. So again, you need to know yourself and you need to understand what triggers you and what you need to do to get yourself out of that on the spot. I'll have people who will come to me who know about the breathing practices, and I'll be like, oh, they're like, yeah, I blew up an account today. I'm like, all right, did you do your breathing practices? Nope. All right. Did you take a step back and go for a walk? Nope. It's like, all right, so what are you doing? You can't expect different results if you're not doing anything different. So again, you need to figure out what the triggers are, and they could be many things. For example, I had somebody tell me they had a fight with their wife the day before, and the wife told them to quit trading. So they got on the charts the next day trying to prove a point. Oh, I don't need to quit trading, blah, 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 blah. Setting yourself up for failure. That's the first tell right there with how you talk to yourself. I'm going to prove a point to them. I'm going to do this. Big red flag. Don't trade that day. Just don't do anything. Stop. Period. Come back when your head is clear. So hopefully that answered your question, Kia. Mr. Crypto mentioned sometimes he stops and goes, he's feeling frantic, manic, or he feels good and he's not focused. Yeah, the good feelings and the bad feelings, they definitely are detrimental to trading on both sides. Because sometimes you'll get great wins and you're like super confident, super happy, and you'll be risk with your rules. You're like, oh, let me just double my position size, and then you lose when you should have gotten off and come back with a clear head. Yeah, crypto, of course. The reason why I even became like a trader coach, because my first mentor, he never taught me any of this stuff. He only taught me the technical stuff of trading. But the mental stuff, I had to learn myself and like study that myself and like navigate it. That's why I'm like, all right, let me be that for other people, because I never had that and I would want them to have it. Because a lot of traders, you'll always hear that. Oh, here's a strategy that works. Do this, do that. But it's like, all right, what do you do? Like, what exactly do you do when you get in those emotional states, or before you get in those emotional states? I barely hear people talk about that, if at all. And the mental side is the biggest component when it comes to trading, because I can tell you exactly how I trade, even with the strat. For those who've looked, if you've been in the trader circles, or even the recordings or the trade recaps, the exact way I've trade, I have literally step by step told you guys how I trade. Like I tell people, if you want to learn how I trade, everything is on my YouTube. You just have to find it. If you want to skip all that time, of course, you can just book a session. But again, everything is there for you to succeed. Just got to put in the time. But anyway, damn, I forgot what tangent I was on. Um, yeah, so I can teach you exactly how I trade. But if you don't have the mental side controlled and your emotions and your disciplines, then you're not going to succeed. There's still people to this day, 2 years later, in 100K's group in the Hungries, where I learned how to trade the strat from, that are still not successful. It's not because the strategy doesn't work. It's because they haven't worked on the other side of trading. They still think that if I just get this new indicator, or if I just do this, or if I just do that differently with the strategy, it'll work. It's like, no. You need to work on yourself, and you need to focus on your discipline, because strategy doesn't matter if you're not going to follow the plan, period. All right, I'll stop with that rant. Any other questions that you guys have? Are you still offering the 6-week mentorship? Not right now, Kia, since I'm studying for my licenses. So it'll be maybe like another year. So I'm finishing up my first license. And then after that, I'm going to do the Series 7, which I'm not looking forward to. And then the Series 6 or Series 66, when I finish that one, then I'll officially be a financial advisor. I'll probably do the Series 4, which will be for futures, even though I already know futures, but just to say that I have it. Um, but yeah, probably not for another year. But of course, Kia, since you and I have already worked together in that program, just message me. I got you. Cool. As more questions come in, to give you guys an idea of what it's like to work with me, and I'll post the link in the chat again for those who don't have it. And it's also in the description of this video with my various links, and if you want to work with me. All right, so there it is in the chat, where you guys can book a session, or see other things that I offer, etc. I also have my link tree. Yeah, for those who've worked with me on my mentorship program, just message me. I got you guys. Don't worry about it. What am I looking for? Every time I need this link, I never find it. Give me a sec. So the WAP link is to my coaching and stuff like that. Link tree. Give me one sec. There we go. That's exactly what I was looking for. All right, so the link tree has like all my other social media platforms, pretty much like every other link that my WAP doesn't have. I don't have it on my WAP, but I think I have it in the description of the coaching, the one-on-one coaching. But I do offer free 30-minute discovery calls, which is essentially, you can book that session. You can tell me more about what you may need help with. and then we can see if we're a good fit for each other. And if we do want to move forward to work with each other, we can continue from there. Because what I don't want, thankfully, that hasn't happened. That hasn't happened is where somebody books a session and then we're not good to work with each other. But you could always book a discovery call. It's free, 30 minutes. We get to see, I get to learn more about you. You get to learn more about me, and then we can go from there if we think we're a good match, or if I think we're a good match anyway. So what it's like to work with me, for those who don't know, it depends, of course, and I guess I'll just speak in the one-on-one capacity because that's all I'm offering right now in the sense of one-on-one sessions. So the session is an hour and 15 minutes long. We will go over whatever either we went over on the discovery call that I think you need help with, or whatever you want to go over on the call, whatever comes up on the call as well, we can go over. So it's an hour and 15 minutes. You also get a free follow-up 15-minute after that you can use once whenever you want. Excuse me. I go over, the mentality side of trading, the mindset, strategy, really whatever you want to go over, honestly. Any material that we do go over in the session, you will have access to it forever, and anything that I share with you, the recording you have forever. One thing that I'll mention as well is that for those who work with me, that they already know, I require you to send me every single trade that you take. I don't care if it's a losing trade. I don't care if it's a winning trade. That's not the point. The point is I need to keep track of your progress. I need to see what's working. I need to see what's not working. And the only way I can help you is if you communicate. Because I'll say this, my best students have been the ones that ask the most questions. If you want to ask me 1 billion questions every day, I don't care. That's what I'm here for. So please ask all the questions. Please ask as many questions. I don't care if you think they're stupid. There's no stupid questions in this business. That one question that you think might be stupid can be a big game changer for you. So again, ask me as many questions as you can. Please do not ever feel embarrassed or ashamed or whatever it may be of whatever mistake you made. I've done it all. I've worked with many people who've done it all. We're human. We're going to make mistakes. And the more you tell me, again, the better I can help you. What I would say, again, in that same vein, what I don't like is for there to be no communication. And then 2 weeks later, oh, I blew my account. I'm like, wait, how did you blow your account? What happened? Oh, well, I lost every trade for the last 2 weeks. Didn't tell me anything. So again, I can't help you if you don't tell me, if you're not communicating with me. So if you are going to work with me, please communicate. And I would reach out as well. But again, you have to do the heavy lifting. I'm not going to baby you. You need to want this more than I want it for you. So something to keep in mind. What else? Anything else that I would say? Again, I'm super transparent and super honest. So the more transparent, honest you are with me, the better I can help you. And I'm going to tell you what it is. Again, I'm not going to baby you. If you're messing up, I'm going to tell you. And if you continue messing up, I'm going to tell you in a not nice way. Not because I want to be mean. It's just, we have to take this serious. At the end of the day, if this is what you truly say that you want and you're not taking it serious, I'm going to call you out on it. My mentor would do that to me all the time. I'll give you a most recent example that my mentor gave me and that he called me out on. He said, hey, let's play a game. I'm going to come up with a contract that says whoever makes $1 million first from here on out in the next 2 years wins an all paid for expenses or all paid for trip to wherever they want in the world for a vacation. I was immediately hesitant to sign that contract. And he was like, oh, he's scared and this and that. And damn right, I was definitely scared because, I'm human. I don't want to pay for an all paid expenses trip for you and your family if you get there first than I do. So again, the more honest you are and the more transparent you are, the better I can help you. Again, we're human. There's no judgment here from me. I just want to get you where you want to be. All right. Any last questions before we wrap up? We've been here for 3 hours and 20 minutes. That's a long time. Any questions? Anything you guys want to share? And if there aren't any questions, then I'll go into that question that I ask everybody when we finish these. Hey, thanks for coming by, Maria. I'll speak to you soon. You are very late. You have to watch the whole thing from the beginning. Absolutely. Yeah, Kia, when did you and I start working together? Like, I think it was what, 2 years ago? I think 2 years ago. Let me see. Let me bring up all our sessions and see when the first session was. Let's see. It was May of 2023. Was it May 2023? Maybe that's when I first looked at it. June 2023. Is that correct? No, it was May. I think it was May. Yeah, May of 2023. That's when we started working together. I think it was. Anyway, Kia will tell you, as she said in the chat, and of course, you're very welcome, Kia. I'm going to tell you what it is. Because remember, we don't work at a firm where they have a risk manager that's breathing down your neck, that's looking at your trades. We have to be all of that for ourselves. Because if you worked at a firm and you didn't, what do you call it? And you didn't follow your rules, then they will either fire you or they'll make you paper trade for a month. And if you paper trade, you don't make any money because you make money from the profit you make them. So again, you need to hold yourself accountable. Yeah, it was last May from my notes that I see here, Kia. You need to hold yourself accountable and have somebody help you, to help you stay accountable as well, because we can be lazy. So is it possible that you would accept investment money and will you trade it? Then you get 50-50. Absolutely not. I am not going to trade anybody's account and I'm not going to take money and trade it on my account. So the answer is negative. What I would say is when I get my Series 66 and I can officially open up a firm, then I can take people's money and trade with it and then have it structured properly. But I'm not going to take money from anybody and I'm not going to trade for anybody's account. I did that 3 years ago with my ex-girlfriend's account, my account, my 2 friends' account, my account, and while I made all of them money, It was a freaking mess. I would have to log out of one account, log into another, put the trade, do that for all the other accounts, and it was a mess. I'm not doing that. I'm good. Thankfully, I was just swinging regular stock during that time. If I were trading options, that would be a freaking mess. And you know that options, you got to get in when you get in. So until I get my license and I open up a proper firm, I'm not trading for anybody at all. Thank you, though. I appreciate that I have somebody on board when the time comes, though. All right, so it looks like there aren't any other questions. So before we wrap up, what was everybody's biggest takeaway from today's session? For those who are watching the replay, put it in the comment, whatever your biggest takeaway was in the comment section. So whatever your biggest takeaway or whatever stood out to you the most, type it in the chat. How do you pronounce it? Is it Kada or Katie? If it is Kada or Katie, hello Kada or Katie. Hope you're doing well. Make sure that your dad is following his rules. Be there to remind him, hey dad, did you follow your rules today? Definitely, Mr. Crypto. Self-care is very important. Remember, trading is one thing. What you do outside of trading is equally as important as well. If you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not sleeping properly, all that stuff, you're going to have a real hard time, focusing and stuff like that. So you really have to set yourself up for success in all areas of your life, period. Like my cousin knows and other people that I teach, I'll call my cousin up sometimes when the day's done. I'm like, hey, how did your trading day go? Oh, I woke up at 10 or I woke up at 11. I went to bed late. Oh, word? And then, I have a chat with him. But yeah, definitely self-care is important. Man, there was let me see if I can find this. Somebody, I might have mentioned it in this group. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe it was this one. Man, I forgot where it was. Man, I wish I could find it. That was a really good post that I made with a nice gem in there. But essentially, self-care is a form of helping you succeed in your trading because you'll be alert, you'll be awake, you'll be ready, and of course, many other things. All right, any last takeaways before we wrap up today's session? I'm hungry and I want to go eat. Not saying that I don't appreciate you guys for being here. Trust me, I'm super grateful that you guys came out and shared this experience with me. So, any last biggest takeaways before we wrap up the session? I'll put my books away while you guys are typing that. All right. Looks like there isn't anything else. Looks like 5 people just ended up coming in. We are near the end, so you're gonna have to. Once I end the stream, it'll create like the video, so you can watch it from the beginning. Kia said, "My biggest takeaway is that I can't remove my emotions, but I can learn and pay attention to my triggers and my body when I'm up on tilt or approaching tilt. 100%. Remember, you will never be free of emotion because we are emotional beings. But what you can learn is how to manage them. Trust me, I get emotional a lot. Some days, on a perfect day, I don't feel anything at all, but it's very rare. Win or lose, I'm like, all right, cool. Write my journal. Let me go about my day. Sometimes I'll be super hyped that I won like a big trade. Some other days I'll be upset and I'll be annoyed. Again, perfectly normal. It's what we do when we're in those states that matters. So always remember that. All right. Looks like there isn't anything else that people are typing in. So I want to wrap up. Again, I want to thank every single person here for coming by and asking your questions, participating and listening to me talk for 3 hours and 31 minutes. Also want to thank all of you for supporting the channel. Again, every comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. I appreciate every single one, and I am eternally grateful for you guys. If it weren't for you guys, I would not be doing any of this. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. The same link that you used to join this is going to be the same link for the replay. Uh, if you're on mobile, it might not show in the home page of the channel. So you have to go into the live. And in the live, it'll have in the live, it'll have the session from today. Cool. Anyway, thank you guys again for coming out. I will see you guys tomorrow. I don't think I have any classes tomorrow since I think I got to check. Whatever group I haven't done a class for this month will have the class tomorrow. My class that I have every month for free is the second Sunday of every month. So be sure to click on the description, click on the link tree. There's going to be something titled Trader Circle, free group coaching. So you can sign up for that if you would like. You can literally ask me anything, and I'll help you out. Of course, if you want more of a direct one-on-one approach, you can also book a session, and then I can work with you that way. There's multitude of options. Other than that, thank you guys again for coming out. Enjoy your Saturday. And remember, be honest with yourself and put in the work. You change your life once you change your patterns. And with that, good night.